All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the BORCAB meeting. It is Wednesday, June 17th at noon, and we will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, we will start off with a roll call. We'll start down with
John DeSleer.
Rick Lowry.
Beverly Milligan.
Michelle Cherney,
Tina Yell.
Annie Neef.
Neil Mathis.
That works, huh? Jeff Augie.
and we do have Joy Sullivan missing today, correct? I want to just take a moment and welcome our two new members. Bev, welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe Bev, I'm going to have both of you just maybe give a quick back on your background and why you joined BORCAB.
Okay, so I'm going first. I'm just assuming, since you're looking at me, I'm going first. Well, it's truly an honor to be on BORCAB. I've been involved in Bay Oaks virtually from the day that we bought Myerside, which is immediately across the street from Bay Oaks, and we've been, I like to think, a good neighbor and a very strong supporter of Bay Oaks, and I felt that it was a great time in the evolution and post-E and recovery of Bay Oaks to be involved and introduce some transferable skills that I have from my professional life, which was in accessibility for charitable organizations, nonprofits, but in broadcasting, television broadcasting, through advocacy in television, in nonprofits and charitable organizations, but also in my work here as a volunteer on the island. I've been involved in the Women's Club. I'm involved in What's Up FMB. I'm the president of Friends of the Mount House. And anything really that goes on, we really do try to be good neighbors, both personally and through our company, and soon to be, hopefully, Hotel Myerside.
Welcome, we're glad to have you. Tina?
Hello. I'm Tina Yell. I live on Fort Myers Beach. Been going to Bay Oaks for years with my kids. They've done swim lessons, after-school programs, Beach Elementary. Is that not working? Also, I'm involved with the Shrimp Festival planning. I don't know what else to say.
That's great.
It's good? Okay.
The Shrimp Festival, lots of
Yes.
topics of discussion.
Michelle, can I just sorry
Absolutely.
to interrupt. On Joy Sullivan, was that an excused absence or unexcused? Just for the record.
It was an excused.
Okay, just for clarification
Yes.
for the record.
Yes,
Thank
she
you.
has an excused absence.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes. All right, do we have any public comment out there? I'm going to take that as a no. All right.
We actually have one public out here, though. It's
We do. but,
unusual for us. Thank you.
Howie could not make it today. All right, next on the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from Wednesday, April 15th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? I think we have a few people.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're going to go on to old business. Do we have anything that we need to review? I was going to review the FOB system, but from the last minutes, but I see that it is updated on the new BORCAB stuff, so I'll wait till then on that. All right, then we'll move on to new business. The first one I want to talk about is the strategic planning that we started in the last meeting. I sent out I put together a layout of the feedback that we wanted from each of the members here. and staff sent it out, and then your responses came back to them. I thank 3 of the members for getting us their feedback. It was phenomenal. If you read or listened to the council meeting this week, I'm actually highlighted a lot of those. So in your packet, you have the feedback that came from the 3. We have 2 new members, so I would like to ask that the rest of the members also get your input and get it back to staff so that we can again summarize it back to here. John, as you can see, gave a lot of input in on the pool. Joy gave a lot of ideas on different landscaping and different items. I'll take a moment from the strategic planning, from the feedback that came. Whoops. From the feedback that we got out of that meeting when I went in front of council and remember, one of my passions of being on this committee is there's no politics. You know, we have the left, we have the right. I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. Everybody in this island wants Bay Oaks back. And when we gave the update of the ideas that came back through this group, and that's the difference. Staff brings the ideas of what they need, what at BORCAB. We're the ones out in the community. People are approaching us daily, what they want to see, what changes we want, how we want a vision. And the feedback after giving that council update has been unbelievable. We're going to talk about the FOB system here in a little bit. And how can I help? I want to volunteer to do this. I want to get this fixed. It's been unbelievable. So I just want to thank the community, and I'm so excited about the momentum that we have going with this group to keep the changes coming. So hats off to everybody because we're making some noise.
Michelle, and I want to thank you for coming to council. It's the best way to stay in front of us, and you guys do great work, so thank you for that.
Great.
And I would encourage, sorry, I think we're close there. I would encourage when you're talking to the people or any, to come and speak at public comment, to put it on the record of what they want. You know, we have some tangible things we can look at then, either send an email to you or come speak at the committee. Otherwise, it's just people talk to me, you know, and it holds a lot more weight when they're on record. Or can send an email saying, hey, this is what we'd like to do, or this is what I'd like to volunteer with. So just an FYI, if we can get it, you know, more so on the record is nice, then we can compile a list a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm out in the community a lot too, and I get the emails, not only about this, but everything else, so.
Well, and I've always tried to manage that. You look for a pattern. I mean, because you can have an incident and you can have a reaction. We want to look for a pattern. One of the challenges we have on this committee is you get feedback, we get feedback, we can't talk to each other. So if we have this document that we're working off of, which our focus, again, we talked about is increasing revenue, expanding programs, improving the facilities, build sponsorships, promoting Bay Oaks, we need to channel that all through back to staff, and then they've got to get it back to us because we have that challenge that we can't talk to each other. So please, as much as when we get feedback, keep it on this form, get it back in. We can review it when we come back in here because we can't talk to each other. On the flip side, if Neil, and Jeff, when you guys get feedback, if you can please help get it back to us so we can look for the patterns and try to prioritize things. So. Yeah,
and that's kind of what we do on the staff liaison report and any questions that we have. So that's what this advisory board's for.
Great.
I was kind of glad that we waited until we got some information from, John here, because to move forward with my ideas for the pool, I was kind of glad to hear some of his information. So I think we should kind of discuss some of the ideas that have already come up, the 3 ideas that you guys have given today, to start going through that so that we can give our positions based on what we've already discussed today. I think it's a great idea. So.
I think, Rick, we can absolutely do that. Did we have, we can do 2 things. We can have John go through the pool today, and then we will give an opportunity for the other 4 items to be filled back in from the other members. Did you give pool feedback, Rick? Anything?
No, but after, reading his, I realized that I should do more research, and that's what I'm saying. It kind of
Okay.
gave me an idea to dig a little deeper, like the depth of the pool, for instance. After doing more research on it, I realized that the depth of the pool is way more important, being deeper than shallower, and that the lifeguard training that's involved between the shallow and the deep is very different too. So seeing both of them written out in what he explained and what they explained, and then doing my research, I was able to determine that my idea is that the pool needs to either stay the same depth or go deeper. So there's a lot of things that I learned from, reading his information and being able to do my own research and being able to figure out what my recommendations are from there. So I'm actually glad that I waited to get those recommendations from him before I actually started to do my research, so.
Yeah, and we took all of those, because we've been having bi-weekly meetings with them. They should have a 30% design by middle of July, so it's ready for the first meeting. So all those suggestions that you gave, we passed along to them already. So they're starting the design process currently. Currently.
All right, so everything that John gave and then what we've had on our committee list has been fed back to him?
Yes.
Okay, all right. John, do you want to add anything from the pool standpoint? You had the majority of the feedback and you got the experience.
It was more than thorough, I think, and it was further than I felt like it was a little bit stepping on toes, but I wanted to go that far in a first touch. And I could go on for about 2 more weeks about, what else we could do, but what I tried to cover starts with my experience as a lap swimmer there. And then I tried to get rid of all of that thinking and take it back to what tank of water serves the most. And going shallower in the moment when you're talking about the budget we have today, it makes so much sense, but it's not going to be used. Those are going to be ideal thought plans. I don't think we're going to be building the next Caesar's Day Club and getting into the social aspects of how a pool could be used. That's not my wheelhouse, and it's not my intent, especially with the municipal pool. I could hit about 30 soapboxes now, and I'm going to be really careful. But we're almost 4 years into not one child getting a swimming lesson on this island. And without that pool, I've been involved I've been deposed after a child has drowned. And not at a pool that I was at, but as an expert witness. And things like pool depth, things like pool availability, things like pool hours, things like pool offerings, they come up in those cases. Like, everything goes to the general, is everybody making a reasonable effort to make something great? A pool's got to be a place to provide kids to learn how to swim. And we have a very small family population, but as far as full-time residents, but we do not have a small family population because of all of the grandkids, all of the kids, all of their friends that come to trips. Those were the people at the pool that annoyed the heck out of me when I'm trying to just get my swim in, but I'm smiling at the same time because I'm still a 10-year-old when I'm in the pool. And all that stuff needs to be provided. The practical things, just lifeguard training, would have to go off the island to train to use the pool on the island. That's not just a drive, that's a cost. That's a cost of organization, that's a cost of time, that's a cost of actual cost. We have...
So let me jump in there, because that's what I learned from Jeff. That's where we recommend, we don't want the pool as deep, so we would not have as many lifeguards. Can you, is that what he's,
Yeah,
Just so everybody understands.
before Ian, we can't do a training in our pool. It's just too shallow. So we'd either have to go to FGCU for the day, which takes staff time, and quite frankly, depending on what happens with the budget, we may not have that staff time to allow them to go do that. And we're gonna try to do it beforehand, but we'll continue to be hiring people. So we'd have to do that or find a Lee County pool or a Fort Myers pool, Cape Coral pool to go to, and then you're talking about staff time going there, sometimes, hour and a half to get off, hour and a half to get back on. It's just, for what we can do with that pool, from what I hear from the engineers, is the infrastructure is right below it, so you'd have to redo underneath the pool too. And we have limited funds for what we want to do. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but once we start to dig into what all the ideas are, I just don't know that we can go deeper.
No, I actually thought when I did my tour with you, that with the depth we're at right now, that we have to have a higher level certification of lifeguards.
Correct.
There's
Yeah,
a
it's,
diff-
it's
Which
4
limits-
inches,
which
4
limits
inches, 4 inches off from the shallow
Correct.
water certification, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I read, according to guidelines on a municipal pool, you still have to have a deep water license to be a lifeguard. Did you check with your lawyer on that one?
Do you know that?
I can weigh on. So like the challenge we had before when we were open was when you go over 5 feet deep, you have to have deep water lifeguard. It's like a separate certification that the Red Cross provides. So there's like the main lifeguard certification, that's kind of like another specialty certification on top of it.
Isn't that the normal certification, the deep water one? The only ones that get shallow water are the ones who can't do the deep water because they're too weak to do it?
No, it's really based on the facility, the needs of the depth of the water. So we have to have deep water because it's over 5 feet, but we can't do the deep water skills like deep water, spinal, just a lot of the rescues. You've got to be able to go down deeper than 5 feet to perform those rescues, just the training even. And so that's been the issue. It's like we have to go off island to a pool that's deep enough to do that, to get that certification. We can't do it at our own facility.
I will clarify that with our attorneys, either the liability attorneys or.
Yeah, because I looked at the training, and the training is very, very different. I mean, you only have to swim 150 yards for the short water training. That's 300 yards for the deep water training. I mean, if I'm in a municipal pool, I'm kind of expecting that the lifeguards there are deep water trained. So I'm a little concerned about that altogether. Even if you don't change the depth of the pool, or you do change the depth of the pool, I would expect that all of them would be deep water trained because the certification is different and there's different training involved in it. It's not just the training in the water, it's the training out of the water, so.
Yeah, and we'll do, we're obviously gonna go with the regulations that we need for the pool. I'm not saying we're just gonna do, well, I'm gonna check, I'm gonna do my due diligence a little bit more on the lifeguard situation, but it makes more sense if we can do the shallow water one, to go that route, if that's what the recommendations and the requirements are. I understand, like, we could do, all sorts of training, and we do, but, we just have to find the time, and I'm not saying safety's the back burner at all, but we can only do what we can do.
Yeah, another component of the future of that pool is renting it. And it is such good rent. If you are 5 feet or less, I wouldn't bring my team here. We have to do dives, we have to do starts, we're gonna do relay stuff, we're gonna do all sorts of things. A pool at the depth that it is right now would get grandfathered in and be okay to go off of starting blocks. But if we make the pool shallower, you just shut off that potential rental market. They won't come.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would we be renting more for events, or would it be more for like kids' birthday parties?
Oh, the rental that I'm talking about would happen when schools are out and teams from the United States would come here and rent the pool to train in it. So they would be 2-hour blocks of training before the sun comes up, while it's coming up, after it comes up. During the December, January, you're probably talking about $100,000 or more in rent,
Gotcha.
which
But
is a huge budget relief.
Absolutely. But those teams will do it without the diving component?
No,
No.
no. There wouldn't be a reason to go to a pool that you couldn't go off of starting blocks.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there just wouldn't be. And with it being a 25-yard pool, this is going to be one of the pools that they're training at, because they're coming to train long course, which is 50-meter pools, which, you know, the island doesn't have. That's a big bonus pool that doesn't exist and is only really in my thought pattern for the longer term. They're going to be training at Gulf Coast. They're going to be at one of the two Naples pools, or a couple up in Fort Myers, one that the county runs that's not too far away. But as far as getting back to the basics of what the pool serves, any pool is great. The right pool could be tremendous for the town. I wouldn't want to build or design a pool that has any thought of bringing competitions here, because it's not a practical location for a big meet, because it's only a 6-lane, 25-yard pool. There's no place to warm up. You're not going to attract anything other than a small local swim meet, which this could already do.
So the
like
rental potential is there,
Oh,
as it is
100%.
right now?
Yeah, I field easily 20 to 30 calls in the winter just because people know that I'm involved down here. Hey, is that pool open yet? Because from mid-December to mid-January, when universities are generally off, they're all in Florida. If they're east of the Mississippi, they're all somewhere in Florida, and all of those pools are locked up from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. with teams training in them. And the major effect of that is all of these teams are staying somewhere, eating somewhere, and shopping somewhere. So the town income is primary, secondary, goes a lot of levels deep.
So would that offset the costs of, the staff time of being trained for, the deep water certification lifeguard to get that rental potential for those teams?
Yeah, and getting into the weeds of what you make from a team, what you can charge a team. With a 25-yard pool, you can't charge what you would with a long course pool. You could probably charge between $12 and $15 per athlete per day, or even per session if they're coming twice. So a team of 30 or 40 on a daily basis coming in once is significant. Then you're not even thinking about, what's it cost to get our guards certified?
So if I may ask, so when the team comes down, and I'm just trying to go through all this since we
Yeah.
have it, they rent the pool out?
Yeah, and you can rent
So
it in
we
a
would-
number of ways, by lane or the pool.
So the one argument we have from the citizens is, we want the pool open for lap swimming all day, even when we put in before the obstacle course, or we have it for something else, water aerobics. They got upset with us because they wanted at least a few lanes open. Would that hinder that?
Well, there's ways to manage that. 2 lanes, if you're talking to a team that wants to come, you can say during these hours, I mean, if you want to go early when a swim team generally goes anyway, you'd only be competing with crazy master swimmers like me who want to swim at 5. Because the team will swim at 5 to 7, 7 to 9. But it's your pool, so rent the space you want to rent.
Well, we have
if you
to,
only wanna rent
it's
4
not that
lanes-
simple sometimes when you talk about dealing with the residents who pay for it.
No,
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah,
Because
I'm going to jump in here. We need to step back a little bit. My first question is, did we rent this to do these type of operations in the past?
No.
No. So
How
this
about the
is,
And are we,
fire
what time of the year would we be talking about? Would we get the most rentals?
Mid-December to mid-January.
Okay.
And then it would start again, basically when the snowbirds are leaving, when the hotels start to have needs again. It's when school gets out. And that would be mostly end of May through the month of June, some into July.
So to your point, so to your point, Michelle, we had constantly, just about, I'd say in the summer with summer camps, almost every day booked for summer camps too.
Yeah, because the pool, unfortunately, has been a long haul. We all know that. So I'm just trying to get up to speed balancing, and John, bear with me. So we did not do this in the past, but again, we've got, when you brought up the rental opportunities, so you're actually trying to bring a group in for a day, and if I just ran the numbers, $10 per kid, we're talking like $400 per day revenue, and we shut our pool down for them to practice?
You could just rent 4 lanes to them. Then you have 2 lanes available for locals.
Is that
And
for
how-
the day? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
For
they're-
the day or for like a few hours, like you said, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, something
it
like
would
that?
just be hour-and-a-half or 2-hour blocks. And you could do the whole pool if it's not a high demand time. Or, I mean, when I would travel with my team, this is normal. Because I finally get to act here when we have that pool like the people who were under my skin when I was a coach. That would be my country club pool, and you move your team out of my lane because that's where I swim every day. That's just in the management of the process, and that's easy. It really is easy, because you establish that with the team that's coming. It's in a contract 4 lanes. It's a 6-lane pool.
John, if I could just say, so I was aquatics director for many years. I was on the East Coast with the Deerfield Beach Aquatic Center. That was a 50-meter pool. Winter training was probably our biggest revenue maker. I know we're not, Parks and Rec, obviously, revenue is not the most important thing, but it's important still at the same time. There's companies that will schedule teams to come down, so it takes a lot of the work out of the aquatics director's hands. But they want to do 2 practices a day, typically 2-hour blocks. With a 6-lane pool, you could probably get, if you're using all 6 lanes, 40-ish people. But yeah, they want to do a morning practice, and then they want to have a recovery period in the afternoon, and they want to, do another 2-hour practice. It's kind of like their hell week before they start their season. So long courses is a big thing. We don't have that here, but they're, like John was saying, there's the FGCU pool, there's a couple pools in Naples. So that's something that we could work with some of these training travel companies to help schedule their long course swims. And there's some club teams that would probably be thrilled just to have, not everybody's, got to have that long course. We could certainly have teams that could do both their practices here. And then in the afternoons, you have more time for like the pool to be open to the public. And so, I mean, you can do it, you can balance it. And I've done it before, but it's, you'll get colleges, you'll get club teams, and this is a destination. Like, they want to stay on the beach because they want to go enjoy the beach when they're on their recovery time and go out to lunch and, do that kind of thing. And so.
And revenue is our goal. I'm trying to balance here all of our local people who want to use the pool and want it back. And I'm still going back to, we have an issue that we can't get lifeguards if the pool is that deep. I think we need to qualify that.
Well, I think I don't mean to be on a soapbox here about the budget season, but it depends how many staff we can actually, as far as hours we can be open too. So, if I'm thinking it is a brand new pool, I want it to be open as much as we can, but if we have to make budget cuts again, not to say that it won't be open, but we might not have the hours that we have. I know that can be made up through rentals, but we got to keep that in mind too, that we got to kind of plan. I want to plan for the future, but also we have a reality right now.
We do have a reality, but I prefer right now to just plan in accordance that the pool's going to be open and available to the residents when it's built, and that we're not going to be short-staffed. So I understand there's a reality of a budget cut coming, but again, in the design of the pool, we want to do it right. And the question is, at the current depth, are we going to have an issue finding lifeguards? Because the last I heard was there's a different certification based on the current depth of the pool, correct?
Yeah, we had.
True or false?
I mean, we had issues. Either keeping lifeguards because of the traffic, or actually passing the course.
Passing the course because of the depth of the pool.
Yeah, we'd have to go somewhere else and do it. And So,
Well, and I think ideally the situation we want is we want to have one of the staff, at least one, a couple hopefully, that are lifeguard instructors. You know, we were with Red Cross the last time the pool was open. That's what we're anticipating for our lifeguard certification when we reopen. But we don't want to have to go off to another pool and try to figure out how we're going to book that and, you know, just to do the deep water. So like, you know, the pool's deeper, great. We can, you know, be deep enough to have deep water certification. Because we can, once you're an instructor, you can teach all those. You get trained to teach all those. It's just, if we're in that weird in-between where we have to go off island to do that training, you know, those certifications have to be renewed every 2 years. And so then you're like always, okay, we can do everything but this here. Now we got to go off island to try to do this other component of the training. It gets really difficult because you got to, you know, try to schedule the time and people leave and then new people come on and, you know, the certifications don't always for everybody renew on the same date. Initially they will, but as new people come in and that kind of thing, it's going to be kind of scattered when their certification's expired.
When you hire a lifeguard, do you hire them as a lifeguard? Do you hire them as a certified lifeguard, or you just hire them and then train
I mean,
them?
we try to hire lifeguards.
So wouldn't they already have their certification at that point?
Typically, yeah, but I mean, you could look at, I mean, a lot of times they'll give you, you know, maybe 6 months to get some of those things. And, you know, if they've got the experience, it just, I mean, it depends on who you have apply. I mean,
So I would say probably 60 to 70% of the people we hired pre-Ian were not certified. We had to send,
Pre-hiring, they were not hired to certified to work in the pool.
we had to train them before they could start,
Okay.
which is going to probably be the case now because we'll probably hire them a couple months in advance to get all this training. But it's hard to get staff down here in general, in any position. And, you know, we were taking the ones that, you know, could be trained, and once they get trained, then they're certified. So we had an issue getting lifeguards. We actually had to cross-train with Bay Oaks, just in case someone would call out sick, we would have somebody to fill in. So
Yeah, that was recommended a
Yeah,
long time
I-
ago because we had staff sitting inside that could move outside when there was able to fill in. So that just makes sense for someone who's on staff to be double trained because it's,
I'm going to make a recommendation that there's a follow-up, that we get a little bit more further or background on what lifeguard requirements are. We're not going to have to worry about it for 2 more years. I think the focus of today is on the design of the pool and the input of what we want to see on the design.
yeah, I
And-
think it's simple. Just make a motion and we'd prefer to keep the depth of the pool where it is if possible or deeper instead of shallowing it, so.
I'm not sure deeper is an option, obviously, but I don't know how much engineering that will cost to relocate the pipes.
I think that's what we're paying for
drains.
as engineers to tell us what that cost is going to be.
My understanding from when I took the tour of the pool is that we don't even know if the infrastructure underneath the pool can be saved now, is my understanding of it. Like, we might be dealing with cracked pipes, we might be dealing with like some other things.
And I've-
That's, what's this all going to cost?
I went with that as the foundation of what I wrote.
Okay.
I'm assuming that it's all broken.
That's good.
Absolutely assuming that it's all broken. 3 feet deeper than anything is. And I'm not doing that just to assume the worst. I'm doing that because the pool's been empty
It's
and
real
pools are
cool.
not built to be empty structurally.
There's a tree growing through it.
I know. And if that concrete has to come up, then we have an opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm not pushing for, let's get the jackhammers out and go big. But I think we're going to be in a situation, you know, everybody's throwing out their experience. In my 40 years, is that this is a structural problem pool, that we can't just plaster it. And we can't just fire through the old piping and clean it out. I think this is a pool that's much further along in its deterioration than anybody, especially me, wants to believe. And so that was really the basis of, if we're there, get another foot. Because another foot doesn't cost anything if you're digging that, because you're already digging that foot to remove material that has to come out. So that was really the basis of of why I talked about
And I
depth.
don't want to diminish what we're talking about, but we asked for recommendation, they're right now designing it. So,
Well,
I mean, we can suggest more things, but they've been designing it for a couple weeks now. I know that doesn't make,
I know, and I don't want this to be adversarial because I'm not adversarial about this. I'm passionate about this. 3 years I've asked to give input, and it's, we're not there yet, John, we're not there yet, John, we're not there yet, John. Oh, John, I'm sorry, this is too late. That's tough. That's really hard to accept, and I don't accept that.
I
And
mean,
I think
we
that's
got your
fair.
feedback, though.
Let me,
I've been heard. I know that I've been heard. But-
And you said at the beginning of the meeting that his recommendations were also given to the engineer and the architect. So
Correct.
where at this point are we going? Are we going deeper, shallower, or staying the same? And I think this board needs to make a decision and make a motion as to where we're going with that today. So I don't
It'll
prefer to
also
go
depend
shallower
on
at
cost.
this point.
I mean, if we're talking about the pool is more shot than what it is,
Shallower would be more cost to the pool.
would be more,
Yes, you'd have to pour more concrete in there to fill that gap up in that hole. It would be more cost to that pool, definitely.
I think it's really important to consider in the design to maximize opportunities, both for community involvement and interaction with the pool, but also to be able to maximize revenue, given the opportunity that's being presented to us. If we have the option to go deeper, thereby attracting additional revenue, recognition from not only our community, but the larger community that could benefit from this pool. And I'm just going to stop there, but also say, as a neighbor, being at Myerside and watching that beautiful, beautiful Bay Oaks field be mowed every single day or every week, be maintained, and it was used not a lot. It was mostly empty. The lights would go up every night, and it was mostly empty, and it was so frustrating to see that this beautiful field just didn't get used. And why didn't it get used? To a large degree, because it couldn't accommodate the rental of it. And because, you know, the larger baseball teams couldn't come there. It was too small. It was this, it was that. Let's grasp this opportunity to really maximize it. And maybe it won't be ultimately rented, but if we have to do it anyway, let's provide ourselves the opportunity to do so, especially as we're looking at this cloudy budget crunch, so that we have the opportunity to bring in additional revenue, but we can't if we don't.
and I can ask them to give them costs on both, what they think estimations are on both. I wish we had 10 million to spend on this thing. We don't.
I just think going to a shallower pool keeps it an amenity that the city has. Keeping it at its depth or adding to the depth makes it an asset. And I think there's a huge difference in those two words. And I think that you'll draw, you know, the people who are building hotels, the downtime, how's that feel? I mean, I just had a little house on Flamingo, and the rentals dried up because, number one, I didn't have a pool, and everybody left. And so I just waited to my couple sure things that came through in the winter. It's not, and if you build it, they will come. Right now, I can tell you in the competitive swimming community, it's, why don't you have that yet? That is where they are. I know why. That this is going to take a lot of time. And we've really beaten up the depth issue, I think. And I think that we're clear in advising to council, to press, to not letting that pool get shallower unless it's just going to be an amenity back there for the residents to splash in. If that's it, that's okay, then that's what we run with.
Jeff, where are we on the design standpoint? Can they come back with two plans? One current depth? Is
I
that,
will ask them. I can't answer that.
you don't know how far they are? Or
Oh, we have a
that
meeting
needs
with
to be
them
done?
this afternoon again. so.
Okay.
I'm just a little confused on timing. They're designing, but we don't know if the
There's-
underneath needs to be ripped up?
That's what they're starting to, they've been
Okay.
at the pool, they've been doing whatever they need to do as pool architects and engineers, and they're starting to come up with the design, the way it goes. So they're gonna only be 30% by, they'll be 30% probably by the end of July, maybe mid-July. And then that'll be presented to council on August 3rd, I believe, or 5th.
What about presenting to this group first?
We won't meet before then.
Is there any way you could let us know whether or not, what the condition of what the civil engineers find, so that we know at least whether or not it's possibility to go down a foot deeper?
Yeah, I'll ask that question.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeff,
this would actually be the perfect time that they would want that information. So I think, because like you say, they're just getting into the engineering, finding out what they have to do. This would be the perfect time to give them that information, because this is when they would want it.
Yeah, and they do have that. We gave them John's recommendations too.
Yeah.
So
I
they
think that
they have that.
they're guided right now, from what I'm feeling, from what you guys are saying, to go shallower, which is mean they're going to be engineering it
That would
that way.
be,
So,
that'd be what I would be thinking, yes. Just,
So-
I know the challenges of even the lifeguards. I know the challenges of,
I still, to my feelings, is the lifeguards should be automatically trained for deep water, no matter what the depth of that pool is, just for our concern and our legal concerns on that. And I think you should check with a lawyer
I
on
have
that,
it down,
because
yes.
I really think the American Lifeguard Association, according to my information, recommends that. So that's why I'm confused as to why we even got to the shallow lifeguard situation. So, because in municipal pools, it's highly recommended to have deep water. So I think that takes that issue out right to begin with, and there's no reason to be even at a 5-foot pool.
So for what it's worth, I am a waterfront certified lifeguard, and we had to go through the deep water with the brick and everything that we're talking about. For me, myself, it costs, I think, $150 or $200 to get that certification, and I know that it would cost the town more than that because of the staff time, but I mean, we are talking hundreds of dollars and maybe the low thousands versus it sounds like a very lucrative rental opportunity for those months where it's not necessarily the most popular, at the most popular times.
Again, I think we need more facts. I think the next step is if you could follow up to find out where we're on the designs on the two options. John, is there any, can you feed us a business plan on what this revenue and opportunity can bring? I think we need to get a better understanding of that. Again, I needed the question clarified that we've never done this before, so that we don't have any history on sales data or anything on this. And I do think it's going to be, that needs to include what times, during what weeks, how much is it going to impact the pool? Because I think we do need, some more community feedback on that.
Yeah,
I need to
basi-
chime in if you don't not, go ahead, John, after you.
Based on the pool hours in the past, there would be almost no impact in the morning because our pool didn't open until 9. So you've got 2
we
or
opened at
3.
8 for water
Yeah.
aerobics.
We had water
Okay,
breaks
8.
there.
Oh, I'm just
That's- Yeah, that's a couple hours of training time. And then could rent minimal lanes, and then it would come back into the early evening, And- But yes, I can put that together. It's, yeah.
What I think would be good, if I can add my 2 cents, is it would be nice to see, John, if you could give us the dependencies. So you're going to give us, or you're going to give your team here an analysis, but some dependencies would be good. That may be deeper or, open during different hours, or dependent on if you can get a lifeguard that is certified. So let us know those dependencies, because that's what staff then is going to look at and say, can we do these things? The other thing I know Jeff has to worry about is this is money coming from FEMA. So there's also things that are totally outside of our control. So you want to use the money.
Just to clarify, it's CDBG-DR.
CDBGR,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
sorry,
not-
you're
not
right.
FEMA.
It is, and I know it because I
Sorry.
actually sat there and approved the application. So, yeah, there are a lot of rules around it. So we have to make sure that if we're doing something, if it throws us out of the guidelines we're stuck with, then we have to weigh that as well. Because some of that is timing. I mean, it's taken us this long just going through the process. It's so painful. We couldn't start over on certain things. My question to you, Jeff, would be, anytime you're looking to redo a pool, obviously, I went through the same thing. It's like, what is the plumbing underneath? Because we don't want to put good money on top of bad. Is that something the engineers have said they're going to come back to us? They can do an analysis, they can test that, send cameras, push water through, that we're not going to be just hoping it's okay? Because I agree with you. You start digging and you're going to probably find things we did not know that may add to the expense of that
Oh, we know
pool.
that from Bay Oaks alone. We're
Right,
still
right.
putting money in
No.
after Ian.
So
They
is that
they
something we're
pressure
working
test
on?
on lines
Yeah.
before we go any, like, if they're just going to do a rehab of a pool that has been setting, like you say, and could have popped, what we normally do is pressure test
Okay,
everything. So
and they
everything's
can
pressure
give us
tested.
some confidence level that
Yep,
these pipes could
100%.
handle a, 20 years or
Yeah.
50 years, or, okay, good.
Yeah, I'll get that data.
So
We're
that's
gonna-
already in the works, I'm sure, right?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. How quickly you think you could turn something around, John?
Oh, I don't fly out till morning, so I can write it by memory after the meeting.
When is the engineering and architectural supposed to be done on the pool? Because I know we don't have a meeting next month, so we don't meet until August now, right?
Correct.
So unless we schedule a meeting in July, then,
You are
I'll
pro-
find that out today. I have a meeting with them today, and I can send that out in a
And-
blind copy, everyone, so.
Oh, you're presenting to town council, are you not? So we can listen at town
I'm
council
not,
for an update?
Opulent is.
Okay, and
yeah.
when are they doing that?
Is it the 3rd or the 5th? What's that Monday?
Oh.
Next
Okay.
council meeting, I can't remember.
All right, so that's
It'll be
where
posted.
you need to attend, is you need to be at that town council meeting to hear the
don't meet in
contractor give the
July.
update report.
Yeah. So I'll find out a little more detail today, a lot more detail, and see what they can tell me.
And we'll push to make sure that report is in the packet so that you can review it before you have to come and hear it for the first time.
I believe that they have to.
Yeah.
If they're
They
presenting.
don't always, but we'll make sure
No, it'll be
it's
in there. It'll be in there at
Right.
least 2 weeks before the
Perfect,
meeting,
yeah.
so.
All right, and then the other common theme that was coming out of the pool is lockers, space for catering so that we could have private events and parties there. We do understand that, there's some limitations with the money being the grant, but having accessibility to be able to use that for events.
Right, and there might be some limitations on what we can put at ground floor due to FEMA standards. I'm not sure about that, but I know some of the restaurants around town can't have certain things on ground level. But we
And-
can, that's something I'm gonna look at, but it's something that is in Opulent's hands as far as all the notes that we took.
Great.
And we talked about the locker, no problem, and those kind of things.
And the lights
so.
in the pool, so it would be lit for at night.
We talked about it. I don't know what we're gonna come up with, but, I mean, we'll just see if they have to, what they have to do to get that accomplished, so.
Okay, again, that would be one, so let me ask a question. If you come back and they say, nope, we can't do the lights because we don't have enough money underneath this, and we raise the money to put lights in that pool, is that acceptable?
I'll have to check with the county, the CDBG-DR, to see how that will work as far as us putting additional money in while the project's going on. A lot of times they'll say you gotta wait. Once the project's over, then you can put additions to it, but I will ask,
That would just be cute.
I'll
You
ask the
put
county-
You put lights in when the pool's empty and it's under construction.
it makes a lot of
yeah.
sense to me too. I agree, 100%. I just gotta see what they're gonna say.
All right,
Cause that would be adding a scope
especially for the morning rental.
on, so.
all right. All right, anything else on the pool? All right, if we don't have anything else on the pool, we have our follow-ups there. The ideas for new events and programming. I think our biggest one that we have 4 of them coming up. We have the 4th of July parade that the town's going to be moving through on. There won't be any events there. Then we're moving over to the Women's Club. It's got the Sip and Suds, if I'm saying it correctly, which is going to be happening in October. And then we have the Glow by the Golf, which I talked with Neil today. What's Up FMB Glow by the Golf will be partnering with Bay Oaks, and Bay Oaks will be sponsoring the portion of the kids. So they'll be doing a kids pickleball tournament and bringing some health and wellness vehicles, breast cancer checking and different things. So we'll be collaborating as the town with the Glow by the Gulf. So they're working together on that. And then we have got the Shrimp Festival, which has been a lot of work going through with that. So those are some great awareness it's going to bring to bringing Bay Oaks, and we're excited for all of those. Does anybody have any specific questions on those events and revenue generators?
No, but I do have one. If you guys, Jackie Lezak asked me from the chamber, she asked me if you could come up with like a line card for like rentals like that, so she could pass out to the non-for-profits and other businesses that she has during those meetings, so that she could, drum people your way too, so.
Yeah,
So if you could put up something, just some
Put it over.
information as how much rentals are, that type of information, get it to her, she'd like.
Yeah,
that.
I'll send her, it's on our fee schedule right now, which
Yep.
is on our agenda.
It's on our agenda, and it's in your packet, but the
Yep.
fee
She'd
schedule is
just like it
actually in
a
the
little line card,
website.
so she could pass it out to all the non-for-profits.
I will get a hold of Jackie.
So.
We also, I have a follow-up from the last meeting. I'm going to research and get everyone educated on the naming rights that we can offer for, if somebody wants to buy a pickleball court or a tennis court or a sign or anything like that. So I'll, at the next meeting, come back with some more education on that.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any, we have the
We do.
policy, but do we have like, in other positions that I've had, we've had almost a dollar amount set to those. So I don't think we currently have that, so that's something we'd have to set. So like naming rights for a building was, where I worked was 500,000. If you donated that, you got naming rights to the building. If you wanted to donate maybe 50,000, you got a room named after you. Those kind of things.
Right.
So we had a set schedule of naming rights, so we'll have to work on that. I don't know if
believe
that,
we have a schedule, but we just created a new policy, so Michelle, we'll get it through you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I spoke with Nancy about it last night. It's
Yes.
available, so we'll get it to you.
What are we considering naming with naming rights? Is it just tennis courts and pickleball courts, or is it like
We're
Bay
just-
Oaks and,
we'll have to make a schedule for
I mean, that's what I'm
whatever we
curious. I'm
want.
just kind of curious
No,
where we're going, like,
Not
what are we
Bay
naming?
Oaks,
So-
no, like
okay.
naming the, or we get part of the facility or a court or an area or something like
It's like,
that.
Adding
in
it to
the
a
past,
fence.
the only thing that's been named there has been over people who died or got in accidents.
That's the thing,
It's
is
major
Yeah.
things to the community, and I would not want to see any of those names change
It's-
for a money situation.
It's a,
No.
it's a big
So-
enough topic that the Friends of Bay Oaks is also going to be doing it through their organization, but it's big enough that I think this committee needs to get involved in
No,
what that
no
looks
problem.
like.
My
So-
only concern is that
Yeah.
the fields' names don't change because they were named after people who died, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, that, like the Little League,
Wade Jenkins and.
that's not going anywhere
That's
because.
I just want to make that clear, that's all.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But there's time limits on it and cost to naming rights too, so. Something we'll have to, that's kind of new, they just approved it on
Yep.
Monday, so. We'll have to talk about what that schedule looks like, so it's not just willy-nilly, I'm gonna charge this for this or, that. So it's a little more involved in it, so we gotta get down to the
Keep it
details.
on your schedule, Michelle. Keep it on your agenda.
yeah,
It'll come back.
yeah, it just came back, so I'm going to get that information. The Friends brought it up, so the next meeting I'll have some more background and we can talk further on how that's going to kind of pull together.
May I interject something before you move on? Regarding the 4th of July event, some of the conversations that you brought to our attention at the last council meeting about the grounds and the look of the grounds, I wanted to see if you might be open for some discussion while we're here. And
That's
have
actually, we're
Jeff
going
here.
right into facilities next on the
Perfect,
strategy. Yep.
perfect.
So
Great.
that's right on the top, is talking about the facilities, and we can start right off at the top. My comment to town council is the baseball diamond looks like $1 million, but everything else wrapped around it needs some tender loving care. So I'll let you do an update. What I saw this morning, as you know, I go there every morning, is it looks like we had about 25 trees delivered. Not sure where they're all, palm trees were delivered. They're outside the front rec center. And yesterday, we had the garden group out in front of the facility. Can you tell us?
Yeah, so some of that, like with the thing with when you enter in is that by the pool area, that's all gonna be redone. So they're gonna be doing work in there, so I don't know how much,
Jeff, not talking about the pool area, talking
you
about
said the
front-
entrance coming in.
Entrance by the gym, the workout gym. And
Oh,
all the way down.
Okay, I took that as the entrance coming in. You said by the fitness court.
The fitness court,
That's out front.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
out in front on Estero. And then you have the parking lot coming
Right,
in.
right, right.
I understand the pool's getting torn, nothing there.
Yeah.
But I come in at the gym.
Yeah. No, I
all
know
the
it
way-
doesn't look good down there. I know
No,
that.
it looks terrible. All the way through there, and then we put these nice trees all the way around the sidewalk. We still have weeds all over the place. We have weeds all the way around the rec center. And again, you look in the baseball diamond, it looks like $1 million. But we have, when you drive in the back, there's 3, I'm gonna say stanchions, I don't know what you call them, but it's got landscaping rock, it's got mulch and everything. So we've got things there. Again, it's just, it looks terrible. And if it takes volunteers, I've had more phone calls this week to go out there and help clean the rest up. But we just want it to look nice, and especially since we're coming in with the big main area and getting grass planted, I just want to continue that beauty and just clean it all the way up from the entranceway all the way to the back.
Yeah, I'm open for that. We'll definitely need volunteers and material, so.
Absolutely.
That's all we need. I mean, go ahead, and I mean, whoever wants to organize that, we'll be all for it. I mean,
Okay, so we can get volunteers and go in and clean up all the landscaping all the way around.
we just can't touch the garden out front.
I understand that, yes. They just redid it yesterday.
Yes.
And that's theirs. But all the way around the rec center, around the back where all the weeds are, we can work on that. We can clean the area up between the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. It's all mud. We walk through. And the front entrance by the gym,
Pickleball courts. On which side?
but wrapped around the pavilion,
Oh, okay.
the pavilion. That
That's
whole area.
the one's supposed to be a swale, so.
What's that?
The one by the air handlers, that's supposed to be a swale. Is there a different area?
No, believe me, the
That's
grass
backside.
grows great in that swale.
The swale goes there,
No.
and then there's a
No,
drain
no,
pipe
no.
on the other. So
No, this
we'll
is-
look at it. We'll look at it.
It would be where you have the pavilion is placed right now, and there's sidewalks, and there is just grass and mud all the way on both sides. You guys keep throwing picnic tables on them. There's picnic tables on them right now.
Okay.
Make that area cleaned up, and then we need to, is the pavilion out by the new pickleball courts, is that permanent?
It's
We,
always
we
been
have,
there.
we have a plan to put a nicer one there and at the fitness court, yes. So that's not permanent no, it's not permanent. I'll answer that. We
I
have,
was just debating
we have a
what-
plan to put it, we just weren't sure what was going on with the field, but I think we're gonna go forward and put the shade sail where the current, shade structure is, and then we'll also do the fitness court, so.
So I just heard you say you have the sun sail, a temporary pavilion at the new pickleball courts, and the pavilion by the old pickleball courts needs to get replaced. And you've got the quotes for that, approved for that, or where are we at with those 3?
We have not got quotes for it yet.
Okay,
So,
So-
we have funds for it through the park impact fee, that we can use.
all right.
We're gonna use that and.
How much money do we have in the park impact fees? How
Around
much?
300,000 maybe?
And who and how do we designate what that money is
Oh,
used
so
for?
that's technically our savings account, because we can't do capital. So we've earmarked some of it for like the sod and irrigation, and then we did, the shade sales are in there too. So-
Okay, so how much,
But if something happens, if we get another hurricane, or we need to do something, that's the funds
Jeff,
we can use.
believe me, it's kind of like I know we have this tax implication coming, we might have all the staff cut. My question is, $300,000 is in there, you've paid for, we do have the grass and irrigation, correct?
We have the contract, we have not paid yet.
What is the cost on that?
I don't know, we just approved it on Monday, so I haven't even got a chance to get a quote yet.
Can you get that to me, so I can get a rough idea? Also, who handles the maintenance at Bay Oaks now, like the
It's
stuff
just-
that she's talking
Just
about?
Jim D'Amelia.
Is he assigned to Bay Oaks specifically, or do you got him signed to everything else too?
Mainly Bay Oaks, but we are shorter on staff, so we do kind of.
But Jim is 98%?
Jim is
Bay Oaks?
down there, yes.
Okay, Because Jimmy could handle it before, and I'm sure that if we, give him a list of things.
We
that-
had two
So-
positions down there, because Seth
Okay.
was the other one. We're working on putting that back in the budget to give him some help, especially when we're gonna have that big open field.
So can I ask, I come in every morning, in there at 6:45, and there is 8, 12, 15 of them sitting by the bathrooms, by the rec center. Where does that staff go, and what are they doing?
Most of them, some of them are the beach crew, and some of them are the street crew. So we have 6 that are beach crew and 2 actually currently that are street crew.
And do they have an office there?
That is, the concession stand is their office,
Upstairs, downstairs, both?
both.
They don't go in it, they're just outside by the vehicles.
Greg
Getting
has his
ready to go
office
out.
down there, Eva's up top
Do
with
they
her
plan on
office,
moving down here eventually, or what is the idea for them permanently?
to try to find a facility for them. We put the Lowe's grant in for possibly a facility for them, but we don't have anything else for them,
So
so,
there's no room in this building for them?
no.
So my question
And all their
is that-
equipment, no, there would be there's no room in here for extra offices, actually. We've had to make shift.
All right, so if we get volunteers in to come in with a plan to go through all that, we are going to need some town resources, i.e. the rangers and 4x4s to move stuff around. Would they be available? Could we possibly use those 12 people that are there every morning?
Not
That's-
all of them.
Not all of them, but could we get a couple of additional resources? Because we're going to need help
Probably-
loading, moving.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the
everything.
Rangers either. It would be probably maybe Seth from the Mound House and Jim.
Okay. All right.
But I would like to meet about the plan before we do it, though, just because there's,
We'll come behind you with a plan
Okay,
to
that'd be
go
great.
through.
I know we just planted some more shade trees. That's what we did the palm trees earlier, shade trees we just put in. Those were through tree grants, so that didn't come out of our budget.
So again, that's why I want to make sure. So do we have anything else? Because those trees just showed up yesterday. I don't know, 20 of them. Is there anything else coming in that we don't know about? So that we're not.
Just the sod and irrigation.
Just the sod and the irrigation. Okay, so we're going to see.
We have some small things Jim put together. We took out some of those bushes by the monument. He wants to make it more of a focal point there, so he's got an idea on that end.
Okay.
And then we had to rip the ground up for sure when we had to redo the electrical there recently. But so we have seed in there for now, but we'll see if it grows.
All right, and then back to the 300,000. So we have the irrigation underneath there, the wind sail. And then we just talked about we need 2. I'm really concerned that pavilion's going to be gone in the first windstorm. That's
No,
all-
once we got now we can do all that because
Yeah.
we're starting with the irrigation and then we'll do the sod too, or the shade sail.
That's a shade sail, but the other 2 pavilions by the pickleball courts are critical. Do you have to get the estimates on those, or can we ask friends to go out and, how does that?
We'll get the estimates.
Okay, can
And then
we
go
get an
through the
estimate?
procurement. So anything
Okay.
over 75,000 has to go out to bid.
Okay, so the lowest cost one in the back, and this would be, in construction people can jump in, needs to go back in place, or you're gonna have to, or it'd be the exact same size, you're gonna have to tear all that concrete out. But we need to get 2 permanent pavilions in, and we can get funding for that if it's not
Yeah,
in
it's
the
on, if you
budget.
read through the wish list, that is on our wish list. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so all in favor of getting Fort Myers Beach to come through with volunteers to bring landscaping to Bay Oaks?
For the 4th of July, before the 4th of July event. Is that correct?
No, that's
That's
not
only a
gonna
week and a
happen.
half. 2
I'm
weeks,
asking just for
No.
clarification.
You based on what was just stated, we've got to, put a plan together, which means we need to get volunteers, shopping, and I don't know, like, many people are gone right now, so I would say I'm not gonna stand up here and commit for the 4th of
Okay.
July.
And next year, it is in the budget for some landscaping money. This year, we basically had to zero it out
Yeah.
due to we cut $400,000.
I mean, wouldn't you agree that's gonna take some
I
time?
do. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure for the record.
It's crazy, 4th of July.
So we do, like everything else, we kind of have a plan of what we want it to look like. We just need the funds to get there, and I appreciate, or the people, so I appreciate putting the effort in.
We've
for
got
that.
more than enough people that want to get in there and fix it, and other ideas. Okay, so that's the landscaping. Shade structure, you're taking care of, that's in your budget. Landscaping, or the grass and irrigation, we've got that. Right now, I think the rest of the things I'm going to hold off for the next meeting and ask that everybody on here go back through here and add additional ideas, go out in the community, talk to, and keep this list of things going so that I can get back on the agenda over here. Does everybody agree?
Agree.
All right. The staff, so we have the staff put a report together, but we wanted to spend more time on strategic discussions and about what we can do to help things. So we've asked that you read those prior to coming to the meeting and come with any questions. So I'm going to open up if anybody has any questions regarding the BORCAB report from staff.
Want to? Yeah, Neil wants to.
There's a couple things I just want to kind of highlight that I think are some pretty big accomplishments and just kind of show you guys what we've been up to. I know it's been a while since we've met. The big one, Jeff and I met with I9 Sports. They're a national company that does youth sports leagues programming. They're very involved with Lee County, Charlotte County, Collier County. My son was in a youth football, flag football league out at the Sherman Complex at Gateway, and I approached their tent. I met their area developer. So he came out and had a meeting with Jeff and I, and we're going to start initially with some clinics in August and September. But the idea is that, and they've come out, they've toured the Bay Oaks Park. They're really excited about the opportunity. And I think this is it could be really big for us to get kids involved with leagues and sports and getting people to come off island. We have the ability to do indoor and outdoor sports, where a lot of the county facilities, they're only kind of allowing them to do outdoor sports right now. So they, like the fact that they could do basketball and some of the indoor things that we have available. So initially, like I said, we're going to start out with clinics in August and September, but hopefully that goes well. They're going to do all, most of the marketing. They have a much bigger reach. If you go online, you can see their website. You can click on different sports. You can just go by area. So it's a really nice website, but they do a great job. My sons, all my kids have done I9, and it's really a great organization. And I think it's a huge thing for Fort Myers Beach to start getting
something
kids.
that local kids will use?
It's everybody, yeah. And I mean, that's the thing is they have some programming out at Waxahachie right now. That's their closest other site to us. And they're only able to do a lot of the outdoor stuff. So I think, they might, if things go well, be able to move a lot of the stuff they're doing there to here, because it gives them the ability at Bay Oaks to go indoor, and they just don't have that there. Not that we want to take, things away from the county, but they're all over with Lee County and Cape Coral and some, the other big parks of the county. So that's exciting. What else do I want to go over? We had a teen night about 3 weeks ago. Jimmy planned it out. We took 12 teens. These are all island kids to the new Fast Tracks Park over by Headpins. So that was really encouraging, and we plan on doing more teen nights. I think if we can really keep the traction going, we might be able to have one night a week where we have the teens come into the community room and just have, activities and just a place for them to come and hang out and do their own thing and just, be at the rec center. So, that I'm really passionate about that, because that's what we've got a lot of great programming for adults and seniors, but the kids is the biggest challenge, especially with not having the school open, not having the pool open. So I feel like if we can do some of these, especially with I9, if we can get this going now, and they see the multi-use field is going to be coming in, we can do soccer there, we can do, the flag football there. So it's just, I'm excited because I've been trying to think, how can we do this? Because it's not something the town with just our advertising and our reach alone are going to be able to be, I don't think we'll be successful without bringing a partner in. So I think I9 can definitely help us there with that. And if you, as far as, oh, Silver Sneakers, that's the other big update. So I just got an email last Friday from Silver Sneakers. They finally recognized that we've been trying to get our application approved. We're now have the ability to be a Silver Sneakers facility at Bay Oaks. I basically sent all the information that they asked for, just kind of like our different membership tiers, what we charge for our daily fees, and they're going to get back to me with some kind of a contract for the facility. So I've done all that, submitted everything to them. We'll just have to kind of, see what they come back with, but we're moving in that direction. We'll hopefully be able to offer the Silver Sneakers program now at Bay Oaks. I don't know, have a start date or anything like that, because I've got to see what they come back with as far as their contract and what we can do. But I know we've been trying to get that since I basically started, so we've been working on that almost a year. So that's great news on that. But if you have any questions about any of the other items in the staff report, we put our wish list on there. Let me know if you have any questions.
One thing I will mention, I seen that Fort Myers Beach Soccer Club is doing open registration right now, and they practice at Kelly Road, Field 6 currently. You might want to give them a buzz and see if maybe they could use your fields for anything locally, but I know that they are doing open registration right now for anybody who's looking to get their kids out there to play soccer, so.
A couple things. First of all, both the Glow by the Gulf and the Shrimp Festival are going to be utilizing the baseball field for Kids Zone. I think we've talked about calling them Shrimp Fest, the Shrimp Kids. So anyhow, when I read on here that you've got counselor training going on, which I think is fantastic, these older kids that you have, if you could ask if they would be interested in being volunteers for these events moving forward, because we're going to be bringing a lot of kids into those baseball fields during those events, and if we could keep a list of them, I think that would be phenomenal. The
Sure, we can do
the second one is, it got out that you were having these Southwest Florida Blazers semi-games going on. And the question was, are there going to be bleachers so that residents can walk down and watch the game? Will that be open for residents to watch those games?
We still don't have a game schedule yet, and they're starting practice back up this week. They didn't have practice last week. They're still really in the infancy stage of just trying to they're in the Sunbelt Basketball League, which is mostly Florida and Georgia semi-pro teams. So hopefully, if we can get a game schedule, that's something that I don't know why we
Okay, so they're
couldn't.
not scheduled yet.
No, not
Okay.
scheduled yet. We're just hoping that they can get it together enough to we
Okay,
can
I'm
actually
just
host
reading,
some
it says
games.
we
But
will
that's the
be,
idea.
it says we will be utilizing the Bay Oaks for their home games.
We
So that's
will,
where-
yeah, if they can get
Okay.
it together.
I think that'd be great for residents. And then I read that you are working on strategic plan goals that are supposed to be completed. That's also on personnel. If there is any updates or anything on that, if you could give those to us, that would be great. Okay,
So
I think I have the wrong.
I've gotta
yeah,
look at
the wrong
that.
report was sent out, okay. So I will refer from that one.
but I always keeping the staff updated as
let's-
far as what we're trying to do and where we're moving towards, and obviously with the I-9 sports, and we're hoping we get a couple more staff. We'd like to be able to open on Saturdays. That's going to be a huge thing with all this I-9 stuff. We want to have a presence when they're there. They're going to be doing all these clinics and leagues, typically Saturdays. And we want to have our information out there with their tents, so we can bring more awareness to Bay Oaks and what we're doing. And that's another big thing to point out with I-9 is we'll get a lot of interest in some of our programs from people that are coming off island and that just never have been to the park. So
Great. I
For
do
sure.
realize that I missed the fee schedule. We will come back to it. But to close up, the big topic for today that everybody's talking about is the fob system. Residents want access to this gym in the morning and at night. Jeff, I did receive your email stating that, A, there's an ADA bathroom, and that we have an insurance feedback. So when I tell you that this is like one of the biggest topics of this island, that we're only talking about the residents. We're not bringing everybody else off. There are so many people that work here on the island and that want a gym and don't want to run off island. We're talking about residents, basically, that we know. Let me qualify, because I don't know that it's public. We have Terry Prasad from the island called me this week, and he 100% will pay for a camera system and a fob system to get residents access into the facility. So costs, we've got that covered. But even more so, this is not something new or that's not out of the ordinary. I pulled up 4 public facilities here that are doing this. And there is different things that you can do. So I'm going to start off with the ADA bathrooms. There might have been some confusion, but this is how I envisioned it. Not only could they go in the gym, but if I wanted to grab a couple of residents, why can't I go play pickleball inside there? If a couple of the guys want to go play basketball in there. We're just in there using the rec center. Very common for open facilities. So that's the goal, not only the gym, but just to go in there and use it. So when I look at the entranceways, we have the side entranceway that comes back around the door, and then we have the main entrance. Why we can use the main entrance as the fob system, and yes, I know that we have a window there that your office is there, but we could just pull a lock shade down so that the offices would not be accessible and the other doors can be locked. So that way it keeps all of that access through there. And again, we're not asking for everybody, we're not asking for non-residents. We are asking for members, annual members who are residents, to be able to use that gym, go play a basketball or play pickleball during after hours. The staffing portion of it, I reached out to, everybody remembers Hammerhead Gym when they were here on the island. And yes, they were open 24/7. They now are about ready, I believe, to open their 4th or 5th gym. So I reached out to them and I've asked them, they're gonna come tomorrow morning and just do a walkthrough and kind of look at it and say, hey, will this work, will this not work? They do it with all their gyms. But my question for them was, when do people really go in and use the gyms? She said you really want them open at 4 in the morning. She goes, you'd be surprised how many people are working out between 4 and 5:30. She says people get in there before work. She said really after 7 p.m., no. So when I talk about a staffing, I can't stand up here and say that I want you to have somebody stand there and watch 8 people go use the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's a waste of town money. Having a fob system and letting them just go work out and get back to work, that's a workable program. So there are a lot of items that I know we need to get around with the insurance, but my question would be, if we take care of the ADA, we have the cameras, we have the fob system, we'll get some input from people of, if there's any other thing. What else are they saying against the insurance? If you come back and tell us, yes, it's a little bit more increased cost, you know what? There's not a single person that wants access to these gyms that won't pay a little bit more money to get in there.
Is this just for the workout equipment or the entire gym?
Sounds like she wants it to be the gym as well.
I've never heard of an open gym for
Do
people.
you have a list of those
That's-
municipalities that do this? I want to
do.
touch base with
I
them.
do.
to-
My,
Well,
my
you're-
problem with that is what if somebody left the door open at 4 in the morning?
That was one of the,
And one
You
of the
do
homeless people
automatically-
come in there and destroyed the place.
No.
and we have, it is what it is, but we do have a homeless population on the island
Yeah,
too.
and they live there.
Okay.
And they live down there,
By
yes.
day.
Wait a minute.
That's my only concern is the
I'm going to
gym,
give you all
not
the
the workout
concerns. First of
equipment.
all, you cannot shut off the pickleball courts and the basketball courts to get people into the gym. And if you and your son, being a resident, want to go play basketball, why not? What's wrong with you playing
Oh,
basketball?
I'm
in
not
there?
saying there should, I just, I
Again,
would expect staff to be
We are
there,
talking
so.
a full fob system, camera. So when you do these fob systems, if you go to the gym, and everyone has gym memberships, they take your picture, they know who you are, they see who comes in and out of the facility, and again, the door automatically locks behind you. The door automatically locks behind you. It's not the doors are left open, it's a fob system. Michelle Cherney's here, fob, door opens, I go into the gym, I leave, that door locks automatically behind me. This is very
I
common
mean,
practice in the
that's
other
the
gyms.
theory, right?
Yeah, I'd be comfortable, I think, with that in the workout room because we're limited. But if you open up the whole facility, I'm more worried about people getting hurt too. Let's say somebody's playing basketball in the middle of the night and they break a leg and they can't get to their phone. I'm more worried about that situations and other situations. I think that the workout facility, like you say, could be on a fob system. Most of them are. I'd be more worried about
That's
the
what-
rest of the
so
facility
again,
being open.
you're
So-
absolutely right. What you do is you put an emergency call station in.
That we'd have to do, yes, that is
Yes, you
one
put an
measure we-
emergency call station in, that's put in there. There's cameras covering all the other areas. Again, Rick, you can't get to the gym without putting a whole hallway down to the gym. You
No,
can't,
you
you
could
just,
come in the side of the building with the door.
What?
you can't get to the gym unless you go into the courts.
But you'd
I
have to
thought
go
you
to
were
the
looking
courts
at
to get to the
workout
ADA
room Where
bathroom.
the equipment is.
I want to give them access to the gym, but you have to go through, to the gym, you have to
To
go
get to the
through,
ADA.
you have to go in there.
Michelle?
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, I spoke with Nancy, our attorney, last night about this very subject, and she is taking it one step further. I'm not sure, Jeff, if you've talked to Nancy, this was probably after hours, so you may have the same information. She did tell me that HR looked into it, and it was a whole liability issue. She's taking it one step further. She understood that, and she understands how passionate everybody is, so she's taking it one step further and going to do some more investigation to see, are there things that we can do to accommodate what you want to do? It may not be the whole ball of wax, it may be we can do this or that, but she is taking it one step further. She said, give her some time to do some research, and she also said, feel free to reach out to her as well, Michelle, while she does that. So she's not just taking no for an answer. She has the liability concerns, obviously. You know, could someone be raped? Could someone use it as a place to live? It's very inexpensive to buy a fob when you can sleep and get out. You know, I understand cameras, things like that.
Wait, I'm sorry, a fob is expensive?
No, no, no. I'm thinking for a homeless person, if they, you know, bought a membership to have a fob and they were in there to
Homeless,
sleep.
You have to be a resident. Again,
Yeah,
I am talking to
Michelle,
somebody
I'm
with a
not
Fort
debating-
Myers Beach address.
I'm just saying she's looking at all the possibilities to get to yes, if it's
Okay.
possible,
All right.
considering all the things that would come up in a liability issue. Yeah.
And-
She's looking to see if we can get to yes.
And I think this is really, really good to hear,
Yeah.
the positive side of it, because honestly, before Ian, it's going to be an underused facility if we're not open to inviting the community in. And
Absolutely.
let's realistically look at our community when they can use it. In season, sure, it's going to be busy, but after season, it's the residents that are using it. And if this is what the residents want and need in order to have this facility used, I think it's critical that we do our best to accommodate
And I
that.
believe Nancy is looking for that. She's not
Yeah.
going to allow us to recommend something that she is adamantly finding it puts us at risk, but she understands how much we want this. So she didn't just take the first, no, that's a liability problem. She's going the next step. She's going to do further investigating, speak with other law firms, ask other, Tracy, have you heard this as well? Yeah. So she's continuing on our, you know, behalf, and based really on your requests.
And if not this time for whatever reason, I mean, we are on the cusp of AI. And, you know, let's just keep this door open.
Yeah,
Because it will be a no-brainer in 4 or 5 years, so let's just
absolutely,
plan that
absolutely.
it's going to
Yeah, in
happen.
the meantime, if staff can figure out some way to stretch some hours, it'd be really nice, and then we will.
Right.
That was gonna be my,
know,
one of my
that's
things
the
to talk
easiest way to
about
figure this out,
is,
you know?
yes, right now, we only have enough staff to be open and actually reduced hours now in the summer because we have summer camp.
And that's
Right.
not helping it.
So what I had mentioned to Michelle yesterday was there's a lot of hurdles here with not recommending it by the FMIT, that's our insurance. Those were the attorneys that were reviewing it. It hadn't got to Nancy yet, but it was the FMIT lawyers that we got back from, so it wasn't all Nancy. So, and then, so yes, it was medical things happening, which we can get a call center, security, access control. I know that in a perfect world, the door would just close. But we know in other facilities and places that it's been
Yeah, when I ran Little League every night, I had to go up there and shut the door
Correct.
because it wasn't quite closed or something. And,
Yeah.
you know, all our equipment was
get it.
wide open.
We
so-
don't have any accountability or anywhere to monitor that. And we could do cameras, yes, but who's monitoring those?
Yep. It's the same with
Again,
any
we're
camera.
not rebuilding something, this is done every day, and I'm just asking for the door to get
No.
opened and listened, and work on the insurance side, and if the doors have to be replaced because we don't think they're gonna shut like they should, then we'll replace the doors.
And then
This
the-
is something that we just gotta push forward, this isn't something other people aren't doing today.
Part of my job is to make sure we're covered on every end. That means going to the lawyers, benefiting, looking at the risks versus the rewards, and for the fact that I don't want them to have access to the gym. I just don't think that's a good idea. And if we can't give them access to the gym, they don't have an access to ADA restrooms. The only ADA restroom is in the gym.
What's wrong if I take 3 residents with memberships and go in there and take a pickleball net because it's raining to play pickleball for a couple hours?
I have issues with that. What if they're not as nice as you? What if they've been drinking and want to do something? What if they want to, I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of, and that's what our lawyers are saying, that they do not recommend it. I mean, I would love it. I've been to gyms too that are open 24
Michelle,
hours.
just to give you a for instance, we used to have basketball players who used to go in the morning and play on Sunday mornings. And I believe they did get booted because they were drinking, so, for that exact same reason.
So what, is it the hours that we're open? What hours would you like the rec center to be open?
You can't fix
Because
the
after-
weekends, Jeff. So,
You know, we used to be open 7 days a week.
Jeff, we live here. Do you know what it's like during season when you work 8 to 5 p.m. and you want to go to a gym and it costs you over 2 hours to get off this gym because you want to work out?
Oh, I understand that.
No, that's what we're dealing with. People have to drive off the island to go to a gym when we have one sitting right here.
Yes.
And this is very common practice. Yes, I only did 5 minutes worth of research because I'm getting pretty good at what questions you're going to ask. And it dropped me 4 here in Florida. I can look for more of municipalities that are doing this right now. And there are
No,
gyms
that's
all
good to
the
know,
way
because then we
around.
can do our
So
research a little more.
I'm going to close it off that this is something the community needs and wants, and I'd like to see it get in place before season, because that's where we run into issues with people trying to work and get it off this island and work. Any other comments?
Yeah, I actually, are we finished with the fob?
Nope.
Okay, no, okay. Then I
If
don't-
we,
I
if
have-
we
I
are
have
done
a
with,
question
that's what's
later.
good. Do we have any more questions or comments on the fob? Does everyone, who agrees that the fob system is what the residents want and we need?
I do.
Absolutely, it doesn't have to be reinvented.
I agree with the fob system for if it was just the workout gym. I'm comfortable with the entire gym being open to residents 24/7.
Yeah, I'll contact these people and see what they do, these companies, and just see what their policies are, and then we'll run it by. But yeah, I guess I would not want to give them access to basically the whole facility.
Our biggest challenge then is ADA. I mean, that's law.
The law's the law.
Yes, there's no ADA bathrooms in that hallway.
So maybe that's what we need to be looking
An
at.
addition
In addition,
so that side of the building.
I want to keep the facility open more than 8 hours a day. I mean,
All right.
I would love to staff it 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would love to. We just have to pass a budget that allows that to.
Could the Friends offer a finance to help staff in the hours, so then all these issues are taken care of?
It would be.
I'm not sure, I'm just
actually, I
throwing it
think-
out there.
I don't know if it's on the wish list or not.
Could you
but-
give us a per hour cost for one employee to be in the center?
Sure.
That would be
I'd prefer 2 just for safety
No?
reasons.
Okay.
for just opening, not running the center, just opening and sitting there. There has to be 2 just for that too?
I would prefer that. I mean, there's a safe.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an alternative.
No,
for
I am
this to
too.
come
I'm
on,
too.
you know.
And we
So
have
if
done
one
that. I used to
staff
open
could
it up by
just sit there-
myself, but I
Right.
just, I would
What
love
about-
for 2 people to be there.
And I know that's always been the case, but in this situation of what we're dealing with here, they're just coming in to work out, you're just watching. You're not running a program, you're not doing anything other than sitting in an office.
Sure.
If something happens, you make a phone call.
Yeah, I can get a per hour.
I think
for sure.
if that's a per hour, we could probably figure out how we could fit this in and make
Yeah,
it
no,
work
no, I
now
know.
immediately instead of even waiting for
Can we,
this all
can
to
we
work
go
out.
down that path if everybody comes back, absolutely not, this won't work, then we'll go down that path. Again, we're not reinventing a wheel, and I'm just asking the town to push back further. I'm gonna get some more data from the facilities that are doing it. I will supply that back tomorrow, and they're working on it, thank you. So let's wait to see. I'm glad to hear the door's not closed.
We
That's
have,
what we're
we
looking
have a
for.
quote and from Soft Trim, our company that is here, actually does the, is Eric in there? Hi, Eric, you're from Soft Trim. That gives us quotes on our things because we have a contract with them. So we do have all of it. It's just, we're trying to work around, A, should we do it? B, is it legality? Is it, I mean, we could probably legal to do, but liability wise is a smart idea. And then two is we have to abide by all laws, which means ADA bathrooms.
Yep, and it says sign waivers on there. Go ahead.
With respect to liability, can I just plant the seed of the concept of volunteers?
They would have to be a paid staff in there.
Is there a scenario where a volunteer can somehow earn $2 an hour? Is there any scenario where volunteers,
We could do one
Under
staff and one
insurance.
volunteer instead of two staff. We could definitely do that. But it's a town-owned facility, which I wouldn't want anybody that's not a town employee to be in charge of.
okay, seed planted, that's all, that was.
No,
my
we could
goal.
definitely do one staff, one volunteer, but
Can,
No, I didn't know if you needed to or wanted to. Tracy, we have your presence. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything.
Tracy Kohler, Deputy Town Manager. No, I came down to see you all face to face while I was listening up into my office. And I hear everyone's thoughts and opinions loud and clear. Jeff is doing a great job interfacing. Rebecca does a great job reiterating to council some of your concerns, some of your thoughts. And as I'm sitting here, I see some direction and some options to pursue. And I want to echo that Nancy is looking to get to a yes.
Great,
Thank you.
that's
So
great.
thank you for your conversations, and we'll move forward.
I think, when this first came up, I thought this was a great idea. Just because we can't staff it the way we want to. If we passed, raise the millage rate to get, more programs and things like that of the town and more staff, then that would be great. I would open it up at 5 a.m. I would. I promise you I would if we had the staffing. But once it gets to after 6 o'clock, we barely see anybody in there. Hardly ever. So,
is the staff primarily part-time?
no, they're primarily full-time because we only have 5. We have an education coordinator.
Can there be a day or two a week to be creative with the hours? Maybe it's dark for a couple of hours in the middle of the day on X day and Y day, and it either opens at 5 or it goes the other side of the workday, and publicize that really well, and
Yeah,
get some direction from boots on the ground. If
During
people
the
are going
summer-
to use it,
During the summer, I can tell you it would not work because we have summer camp, we have kids for 10, 11 hours.
yeah.
So we have to keep our ratios the way we want them, for supervision of kids too. I mean, that's a big program for us. And during the school year, we do extend the hours a little bit. But we also have at night, we have a couple nights of open basketball that they can't do. So we have other programs going on. We just don't have the staff to, before Ian, we were open 7 days a
Oh,
week.
yeah, yeah.
So I'd love to get back to that. But we just, with the budget cuts, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but that's the reality is, that was one of the risks that I told council, or I suggested to council last year was, we're gonna have to cut programs and cut hours. And some of them seem to be fine with that, so.
Like I say, if
This
you can give
proposal
us.
doesn't need staffing. I'm going to cut this subject off until we hear back from council, if that's okay.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing. The reason that I prefer staff is because I know that you're considering that all these are adults, but I know there are some children that would also, are younger, under 18, that would like to be in the center too, and without staffing, they're not going to be allowed. So that's my reason for, I'd rather have staffing than.
That's the waivers,
So-
would the children would not be allowed in there. It's over 18.
Exactly,
No, it's over 18.
That's exactly
We'll-
my
we'll
point.
watch
It's
the camera.
over 18.
That's exactly my point. What about the kids that are under that age?
They wouldn't be allowed in after hours.
And
Well, they
there's
try,
no
and they're
staff
not
because
allowed in the
there's-
weight room either, but they sneak in
They
with their
still
parents.
deserve the right to be in the center, and that's my
We're
consideration
we're
for
weighing all
staffing, so.
the options, and
All right.
if it was that easy, yes, I would already have it done.
All right, I'm going to move on with the subject until we hear back. We've given the word. We'll get feedback from another facility who's doing it now. You have the list of 4 municipalities who are doing it now. You can reach out to them. Again, I'm just trying to push the momentum because the residents would like to see it before season, so they don't have to drive in the traffic and stay home. All right, I apologize, but we need to go back to the Bay Oaks
Oh,
fee
actually,
schedule.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Can we go back? I need to go back to that because if we do that, I would assume it would be an additional fee.
Yes, absolutely, and everybody agrees with
Which are
that. They
our
will pay,
fees.
they
our
will pay,
fee schedules, what do you think? Because our fee schedules will be due probably before our next meeting. So that's why we have it out there for you to review. You can always send it to me after you review them, your thoughts. I know last time we did this, it was, what do you call it, contentious about raising any fees. So what would a fee be? And I can find out from these municipalities what they charge too. So I'll do my research on my end, but what would it take to have two or three extra hours a day that have a fob system?
my response would be is I'll investigate that. Last year, we were requested to go out and take a look at the fees, look at other municipalities. I took it on, and our fees are low, and the response was we can't increase the rates.
And that's a council decision.
Okay, so when does the fees go in front of council? Rebecca?
September, what did we set? We set budget dates.
Oh, that's right. It would be-
5th?
Yeah, it's September, it's early September.
Yeah.
So do we still have time if we have this group take a look at the fees? Well, take a look at them now, and then if we have any research that needs to be done, when do we have to have it back to you? Can we wait till our next August meeting, or do you need it prior?
We're not meeting in July. We have no meetings in July. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I would say do something within the week and get it over to Jeff so that he can see if he can get it on an August agenda.
It didn't get on the agenda, so it's not an agenda item today, but if you all want to review it, especially the pool, because we're going to have to figure out what we want to what charge for rentals, for
But
all sorts of things.
can I ask a question? The pool's not gonna be open next year, so why are we why is
It might
even
be
on
open
here?
during the fiscal year next year. This goes until October of next
Yeah,
year.
the fiscal
It-
year
it
runs
could be
different
open
than
by
the
then.
calendar year.
I did
But
have
could
one
we not
question on it.
modify it then? It's just confusing. If I'm a brand-new resident, I move here and I go on your website and I go, I'm gonna get a membership for $150 because I want to use the pool.
No, well, I think what Jeff's talking about is the budget.
We have
There
to
are
set
certain
one at the
things
beginning.
we are required to do by certain dates. And the fee schedule is one of them.
Okay, two
Because
different
the-
sep-
We can come back and ask for modifications.
Sure.
Two subjects, I guess. Budget's one thing. I'm talking about that there has been feedback from residents, like, why do you even have the pool rates on here when we don't have a pool? And this is very hard to see on the website in terms of understanding what the membership includes it. But I'm looking at a 25-26, and it tells me how much the pool fees, memberships, classes, and pool rentals are. I mean, why is it even on the website, and why are we even talking about it on here when we don't have a pool?
Because we weren't sure, sometimes
it
we're
would be
not,
open.
we weren't sure when this was supposed to start. We were assuming the CDBG DR was going to start.
And he's also got the concession
Long
stand
time
on
ago.
here, so technically,
Yeah,
and that was one of the questions I had. You had fees for the concession stand, the ball field lights, and the field.
Yeah, those
Is
have
that-
been taken off this
Is that exempt for
time.
non-for-profit leagues?
we
like,
do.
for instance,
Yeah, we
for-
exempt them for non-for-profits, yeah.
Okay. Should that be in the fee schedule somewhere as a note?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
otherwise.
actually, no, we have a reduced rate for nonprofits, that's what it is.
Well, if, let's say, the soccer club wanted to use the small field, you're going to charge them for using the field?
There's a,
I mean, they're a non-for-profit Fort
Yeah,
Myers
there's a
Beach Soccer Club who's been using those
Nonprofit
fields.
member rate and a for-profit non-member rate.
So they would now have to start paying to use the
They
fields.
should have been
that they
all, I mean, they should have been all, these fees, these were before I even started, were these.
I don't, they operate in a negative. There's not too many local non-for-profit leagues that can afford field
No, it
field
does-
charges.
what does it
For
say
using
on-
their local fields, they're usually given to them.
It says, do you have the, where's the Bay Oaks one? It does say, there's another page.
Says ball field costs per hour, 0, but it also says Rod Vale or Wade Jenkins Fields, 2-hour minimum at $75 an hour. I don't see anything on here
It
about,
says something about youth leagues on one of these.
I don't think youth leagues should be paying for usage of the fields. Or the
If they're for-
concession stand, as a matter of fact, I think that their budgets are hard enough to
hold
get
on.
children to even be able to afford to pay on this island, let alone be able to pay for the fields to use.
Yeah, and this is the catch-22 that we get. Do we not charge,
Well-
and then we got a deficit, or, and then we do?
All right, I'm gonna.
Are we really after
I'm
the
gonna,
children?
I'm gonna,
Oh, I agree.
ask a
I'm all for
question
the
that's gonna
children.
show you
That's-
how much
I mean,
work
I have
needs to
a
be
child
done.
myself that can use
I mean,
this
I'm
stuff.
all
I'm
for charging people
no.
who come from out of town, you know, or a league from a school or somewhere
Yeah.
else. But when it comes to a Fort Myers Beach
Where is the
non-for-profit youth league, I do not believe they should have to pay a fee.
I thought it said something on here, like youth leagues was 0.
It should, that's why I'm asking.
But there's another page to this, I believe.
So Rick's got one question. If I was a youth league and I wanted to rent the baseball diamond for 4 hours, how
From
much would
Fort
it?
Myers
From
Beach.
Fort Myers Beach, what would it
Right.
cost me? So here, I'm gonna pull up the second question. I am the Shrimp Festival. What are my fees gonna be for me to come in and set up on Friday night and have it Saturday and Sunday?
It says 500 a day, or, yeah, 500 a day.
500 a day.
Yep.
And that's a 501,
Grounds.
that's a nonprofit.
Nonprofit member rate.
Okay, so $500, because they're not a member, so $500 per day, and that will get them all of the grounds, including the facility.
Not including facility. Facility has its own.
And if you look at it,
There's building and grounds, which would be
right,
$950 a day for all of it.
you can pay $350 an hour or $500 a day. which-
Yeah, correct.
Right.
But all day it would be 500.
Right.
Okay, so Shrimp Fest is gonna be $950 per day, and they will have access to the Bay Oaks Rec Center, the baseball diamond, and the main campus. Same
Correct.
thing for the wellness. That's what the charge is, $950 per day.
If that's what they're renting, then yes.
Okay.
They can go to the town board and ask for.
Yes, we can't waive those. The
No,
town
no,
council
no,
would
no.
have to.
No, just asking for
Just
clarification.
Good
giving
point,
the
Rick.
awareness so
Yeah.
people understand it. so.
All right, so then, does that include, and I know this is gonna be a little extreme, but the Shrimp Festival is not small. They had 10,000 people in the drone watch it last year. They served 1,000 shrimp plates, which the expectations get back 3,000. Does that include garbage cans and dumpsters?
No.
Does that include,
So when the town has to do facilities like let's just say it's the 4th of July, we have to rent all that too.
nope, that's, okay, so
So
I'm
when
asking.
anybody coming in would have to get, since we don't have lights, they would have to get portable lights, possible security.
Yep, no, that's,
all
that
that,
stuff
so,
I know.
yeah.
So, so garbage cans, dumpsters, all that is separate, that's all there on their own, so.
They can use ours, I mean, but we don't have many of them.
Yeah.
I would suggest, and we even do that down, we're bringing extra ones down to Times Square and in our facilities, the cardboard ones, for extra.
One of the things I'm not seeing in this fee schedule is a scenario like what we do across the street. I keep saying Marisha, but what we do, or a potential hotel might want to do that doesn't have a pool or a
Corporate.
workout facility, and that is, have each room, the guests staying in that room, be able to grab their Bay Oaks memberships, go in, use it, and so that that hotel can provide that as a service.
Yes, so we had a corporate rate. I
Yeah.
don't know why we went away from it. I think just because we didn't have a pool maybe, but we can, definitely that can be one of your notes on there is to add the corporate rate in there. And I can maybe look back historically and see what that might be.
Yeah, I think it was like I think it used to be because the hotel was on island, it was just charged the resident rate per room.
Could be, yeah.
Bev, I heard you
But it
bring
was
that
not-
up one other time. I think that's a good one. You were
Yeah.
saying, maybe a hotel wants to purchase a group of
Or a
50.
vacation rental that don't have a pool.
Right, and they hand them out, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
It
Now's
worked
the
Yeah,
time.
that worked out great.
It worked perfectly.
We get a lot of requests for, especially our visitors, like in season, for like a week pass, a month
day pass and-
So right now, we just have the daily passes, and then the next jump up would be the 6-month individual family memberships, and then we have resident, non-resident, so.
We had all those.
I
For
think
some
it
reason,
was-
BORCAB chose to cut them
I mean, we
right
should have-
after the storm. Let me get the one we used to have too. I mean, the prices will be different, but I can pull up the budgets from,
But even if we could just do a week, or, I mean, one or the other would be,
You actually should have a
would be
day,
great.
week, and a month based on, I mean, tourists
How
down
long
here
we-
rent
we had
7
a-
days or they rent per month.
we used
Because
to
I
have a
feel-
3-month too, but it came before BORCAB and they just wanted to simplify it.
Let me ask you this as an idea, Bev. What if they were all day passes, but you gave them out to them and you said, you can use this while you're here for the week. I want this back with your room fee and those things. So that Bay Oaks doesn't have to figure out, is it a day, there's, not
Well,
a
that's-
scanner. It's just, if you have the pass, you were given it by someone with authority and you've got to give it back.
And they had that per room, so they had
Okay.
it with the
Yeah,
it
we
was
paid
hung in the
once a year
room.
for
Right,
the
yeah,
membership
for,
for that room.
So many of them for that room, yeah.
Just 2 per room.
And we were usually
I like
pretty
that.
good
That
about if there
sounds-
was extras,
Yeah.
if they were with the Myers side.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds simpler for everyone to manage.
Yeah.
You and Bay Oaks, you as a hotel.
Yeah,
owner.
and that's what they did. They just came in with their fobs that were in their room and scanned in.
But I'm thinking with a 3-month vacation rental, somebody's renting down Pearl Street where I live, and they're there for 3 months, and, Mom and Dad America want to go and work out and, do their thing. They're here January, February, March. Can they purchase a 3-month pass? To do an everyday would be very expensive. I understand that they simplified it and went to that 6-month membership, but maybe something shorter term would be convenient for
Right.
our, longer term rentals, but short term guests.
Yes, and perhaps even to take that, so you maybe buy a week or something like that, but also what Bev is doing at Meyer side, and offer that to all the short-term rentals and say, do the same thing.
Yes,
Buy a
absolutely.
handful of them, and then you tell your guests.
Where is it?
It comes with membership to this beautiful place. That's an added benefit. They can charge for it or not if they want. But then if you don't turn that tag back in, you're going to pay a $250 fee or something.
So do we all agree that we want to add a weekly, monthly, 3-month, and a corporate rate onto this?
So I'm gonna send you all this, but I wanna kinda go through it. We did have annual, seasonal, weekly, and we had individual and family for each one of these categories. Monthly, adult day pass, child day pass, annual memberships for family and individual. Corporate rates, there's a plan 1 with 1 to 10 residents. I'll let you read it, but it does break everything we're talking about down. I'm okay with going back to that.
By resident and non-resident?
See, that's the thing. They were just going off of if you were a member, if you bought a membership. And then we need to give the residents a better deal than people coming off island. So that's when we got into the one you're currently looking at where it says resident. This one just says current fee. So that was across the board, whether you're a resident or you were coming from.
How do you define season?
That would have to be, we'd have to define that like 3 months.
3 months, okay. I like that better than season.
Yeah, I do too, because that's
Yeah,
tough
I
to
agree.
define.
I agree, and also, just to keep it less complicated, you could say resident, 15% off or 20, whatever that number is, and then you've got a fee, but there's a understanding, or it's unwritten, or a written discount.
Actually, we wouldn't even use it should just be a straight fee, because if they're looking for a day, weekly, monthly, 3-month corporate, we're gonna assume they're not a resident.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say that.
It could be a
no.
grandchild, it could be someone that doesn't live in the household that's
But
over 18.
they still wouldn't be a resident.
They might be. They might have somebody visiting and want to go play basketball.
But they wouldn't be a resident.
They could be though, right?
Okay, I think it would be minimal, but I'm trying to figure out,
I just don't want to, I want and I guess just to be clear, I want the resident fees to be
Less.
less.
Absolutely.
And not like
And
maybe 5%,
non-resident-
I'm talking like, I think
And
we're at,
non-resident for these should be higher.
it was, this one is, for an individual this year was half.
Pretty much they're all half, like the
Yeah.
rest of them.
So then
Different
50%,
memberships,
you know,
they
just,
have.
Yeah, we could do
it
that.
just simplifies things.
Yeah, absolutely. So there'd be a non-resident and a resident rate for each of these.
Correct, like it is now, but yeah, different, same format as you're looking at and here, but I'm trying to look at the youth sports camps were 10, youth sports soccer, Little League was no charge. So,
I
I
know
don't-
they've added it, taken away.
I
I just
know.
wanted to make sure it was in there again.
I'm
So,
okay-
Not that it exists right now, but if it does, I do not think they could afford
no,
to.
and the other thing we could do to offset that is, the town does have a banner program. We could go around to businesses and put banners on the fence.
Well, I noticed that you put
Yeah.
the banners on there, and that used to be their number one fundraiser,
Yeah.
so that would be taken away from them to begin with, so.
Who?
We use the banners on the back of the field for Little League and soccer to raise money, so if you're using the banners now for yourself, that of course
You'll
would
lose
take
it.
away from them to be able to make any money at that to use for their field revenue, so.
I think we decided, if I remember, actually, it's been a while since I think there's been is it still active? I don't even, anyway, but if it was.
Most
and-
of it's,
And hopefully it will be again.
Yeah.
Like, we have a team now that we got down here
yeah.
that's gonna be twice a week and play some games, and,
I mean, typically, the Little League or the soccer club, whoever's using it at the time, would sell their banners and put them up on the outback of the field. We'd raise
Yeah.
no money that way. Now I see that you've added it to your fee schedule.
it
so
was
that-
always in
well,
there.
that'll-
Even this one, there was.
Yeah, I've never seen in the past when we used to have the leagues there, so they won't be able to, make money at that, so they'll be aware of that being the new fee schedule, so.
Yeah, and like I said, it was in this one, I think, too, so we have always had we just always had Little League there that had a pretty predominant program, so.
And I think we have sometimes.
But I think
supported
now
groups.
even with, it was our sponsors, and then the other ones could put them on the sides.
Yep, even flag football, we'd get sponsors for Bay Oaks, and we put them
Yep.
on the back side, so.
Yeah, and I've talked to a few people that my son plays with, and they had older kids that played flag football down there. They said it was great. Like, I would love to get those kind of
Becoming
things.
very popular again. And-
Yep.
And usually, when you ran it here, it was filled every year. There was a waiting list,
Yeah.
and it was 50+.
I would
Nice.
absolutely love to get those things going again. I mean,
Give it time.
yeah. No, I realize it,
Good time.
yes.
So Erin did this report for us last year. I found it in my notes. So on average, and she did a comparison, which was Lee County Parks and Rec, there's 2 of them, 3 in Benita, and the rest in Sanibel. So off the top of my head, reading this, individual is $10, not 7. And,
For residents? What do they
Yeah.
offer, though? That's my question.
Yeah.
that includes, so it includes pickleball's including this membership, or everything but classes and events. Includes a weight room, some fitness classes, pickleball, pool, tennis, and events.
Yeah, that's right. I remember looking at those, but we charge for fitness as well,
Yeah.
like fitness classes. So we have it a little different.
Correct.
So I did look at that list. I remember actually what you're talking about now.
Okay.
And we did look at those and what does that facility offer versus what do we offer? We don't have that, as much as it's a big
Yeah.
facility and everything, we just don't have that
Okay.
much space to offer, so. Nor do we have the staff to run those, the classes like Annie does and her yoga and stuff. So we don't have the staff to do that.
So again, I know you have, I think we have 2 issues going on here. One is the budgeting, and one is what do we communicate to the residents? And I still recommend that the concession stand that we don't have, the pool store beverages and pool to be taken off the website that we have offering these
Correct.
services until we put them back on.
Well, actually, we can't right now because we can't go to council to ask them to take them off.
Yep, it's not that easy.
We can put a
unfortunately.
disclaimer on there, probably, but.
Can we, for the purposes of everything we've discussed today, look at a line item, whether it's just kept open, because I know it's, we're really trying to figure it out, but like after-hours residents? So that we just begin to start to think about the data, start to think about who would actually buy something like that, learn about it more, get feedback at a minimum. And it's going to help justify either a fob system or a staff system if we can get some momentum in numbers.
I mean, we have
Isn't that what you
attendance
need?
numbers from, like, after certain hours. I mean, we can tell you when they clocked in because they fob in, so.
Right, but I'm circling back to the fee schedule. And just putting a line in there after hours residents, just to start the process, plant the idea, keep it positive, keep it
You're right.
front and center.
That's what I kind of brought up, is we'll need to set that,
Right,
those fees if we're going to be potentially doing that in the future.
right, and we may not be able to with this budget go around, it can be zero if that's how
Or it
it's
can be
handled.
ratified. We can go to a council meeting.
Right,
But we want
but
to
if
put
it's
something
there,
in,
Yeah.
even if it's 0.
I'll do some research on the additional charge for the fob system, and I'll get that over to you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate if everyone would.
Yeah.
Just give me some feedback on the whole fee schedule.
Yeah, but just getting that line item in, I think, is just the beginning, regardless of how it's done. It's the beginning.
And it could be, yeah, it could be after hours per hour, it could be after hours per membership, because we do have, sometimes teen nights and those things that we try to do at night too, so. Which, I don't think Neil reported on it, but we had a fantastic teen night.
Yeah.
There was a lot down, 13,
Yeah, no,
There-
we had 12, one didn't show,
12,
but-
so, I mean, that was pretty good. And our summer program, we're up to 40 registrations, something like that, so.
Which is
That's good to
higher than
see.
where we were
It's really
last summer,
exciting.
so,
I
it's
actually had a-
definitely picked up.
I actually had a question about that, the registrants, and I absolutely respect privacy, but like, are a lot of them island kids? No.
The 12 are,
Uh,
most of the 12 are.
There was, I talked to, Marcia, she said that about, you could probably answer that, but I think there was like 3 or 4 kids that were off island. maybe.
Yeah, there was a couple friends that signed up, but I think 9 or 10 of the kids were island kids. And then as far as for summer camp, I would say, gosh, probably about 25, 30%. The rest are off island, like, as far as like the 40.
Again, give it time, but I
Yeah,
think
it's good there.
these teen programs lead to lifeguard training,
Mhm.
right? These teen programs and that kind of level of engagement lead to, scuba diving, learn your basics in the pool, get your initial
Sure.
licenses, all these different
Yeah.
things. So it's an
That's on the fee
important,
schedule.
such an important
Yeah.
program.
Right there, lifeguard
Oh, is it?
training. Yes, it is.
But they.
That's
they
why I
have-
got it, I kind of laughed,
That's
I was like,
great.
Well, we
you
had-
can't have that without a deep pool, though.
Well, yeah, because we had Jimmy, actually,
There you
D'Amelia
go.
wasn't, he was certified as an instructor, so we could take people to a different pool and get them certified, so.
Yeah, but it would be great if it happened
I'm
here.
gonna send Neil this, and he can send it
Yeah.
out to you.
She's walking by right now, Tracy, right? Where are your kids right now? Bay Oaks, the staff's got their kids over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always hoping for more kids. I've always worked in youth programs, I've always worked with youth. It's always been a passion of mine, and I wanna see how many we can get back to.
Yeah.
It's just, we gotta manage all of it, the whole picture. And it would be nice for me to say I wanna get all these things going, but it's also my job to make sure we can afford it. So, it's just the, kind of my slap in the face reality is, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer all the time, but it's my job to
That's
to
how we're
make sure
gonna
everything's
find
gonna work.
revenue.
So,
And so the kids understand the fee schedule, that they can always come and look for a scholarship and
Of
ask you.
course.
Okay,
yep,
so-
we still have that. And that's one of the things on the wish list is extra money for scholarships.
Yep.
For, for field trips, those kind of things, so.
That's-
One thing to mention, we have kind of, not partnered, but we were over at the library for the month that we were closed with some of the repairs. So I want to just, so it's on the record, give a shout out to Liz over there and her staff at the library for letting us use the 3rd floor for our after-school program that whole time. And then we're also going over, they're doing movies on Fridays. So we're taking the kids over there for summer camp, and they're doing some craft days that they've let us bring the kids over there. So it's been really nice working with them and getting involved with the library a little bit more with the kids.
Yeah.
The other thing that Michelle and I emailed about yesterday, and I'll just bring up because she wanted some information, were on stadium lights for the ball field. We did get a quote in 2023 for about 200,000. That was just the equipment. That didn't include running all the electric to it or getting a new system in the room. Plus our switchgear, we'd actually have to increase it because we only rebuilt the switchgear at the time because it was an emergency purchase to open Bay Oaks.
Yeah, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but those lines underground are shot.
They're all gone. They've been
Yeah.
ripped out.
Yeah, they were already shot too,
Yeah.
so they don't.
Oh,
have to
before,
use
yeah.
those. And of course, they took the poles out, which was a lot of that cost, because I think that original quote from Musco did not include poles, if I remember correctly, so.
To take them down?
No, they were gonna use the existing ones, I believe, so.
Yeah, at that point,
So
because there
that's gonna
was,
increase the cost exponentially too. But also to figure out some way that we can run those lights past 9 o'clock, or
That's-
they're useless to us.
yeah, so I was gonna kind of go into that. What I told Michelle is that, you know, if we do the standard white lights, then they have to be turned off during
But there's
turtle
also a
time.
code that is required for fields to be lit in order to play a game.
Of course, yes.
So it's a double killer.
It was like,
It's
I
a
always thought that when I
double-edged
first
sword
started,
on you,
like,
so.
we couldn't have anything at night because we have to shut them off. But
And
if we
we've
did,
left kids in the field and
I've
literally the
been
lights are shut
researching
off.
turtle-friendly stadium lights, but
There has
Sounds
to
like
be a
an
way.
oxymoron.
I
Do
know,
they
but
exist?
unfortunately, I
Huh?
mean, any sports league, when that 8 o'clock, I mean, it used to be 9, and then they changed it to dusk.
yeah.
Well, there's not, we're in baseball season, and we try to have a game in Fort Myers Beach, and we can't have one because the lights go off, and they won't let us have one.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks to have a
would-
league where you can't play a game in your own home field except for the weekends.
If we had lights,
So-
the Diamond Dogs that's playing now could join a league, and that could be their home one, and they could play night games too. But right now, there's no lights, so they can't even, and that was the same with Little League, is they couldn't play, that couldn't be their home site because they didn't have lights. So it would be different. We would go from 6 to 4 now that with the new technology and brightness, but I don't know what turtle-friendly lighting would be on a baseball field.
Or
It's-
even communication between the timings, like for instance, half the season that we were playing was already past this turtle, the nests were already gone, there
Yeah.
wasn't any issues, but the communication wouldn't work back and forth that we could leave them on because it was just that rule. If the rule was a little bit different as to
Okay.
where if there wasn't an emergency, there was no nest down this end and it was okay,
Oh.
then we could, but there's no communication and it's just yes or no. And that is not a good answer for when the residents or the children want to use these fields at night, and when they're shutting them off, when half the kids are still out in the field and having to run to the car in the blinding, not even able
Yeah.
to see where they're going, you know, so it's dangerous. It needs to be cured, and hopefully we can come up with the lights
Yeah.
that somehow are allowed to keep on, or we got some negotiation back and forth with Turtle Time that during a time that is okay, we can use them, because otherwise it's pointless.
I agree with you, and that's what I
So-
said, is if we do the white lights, which,
We
I mean, for the price,
I
that,
don't,
it would probably be around, I would say anywhere from 300,000 to 600,000. We have a quote for, what was the other one? 635, that we weren't gonna entertain because we had the Musco one, but, it went all the way up to like 635,000 just for the lights and
I've heard
standards.
close to $1 million for the poles and the lights to be able to
So,
perform.
but
for
but the
Turtle.
main issue is when can we have them on? So,
Michelle, I have another question for you. When you were before council the other day, you were talking about some of the programs, and the Glow by the Golf were saying that they need power. Is that something you're in communication with Jeff? Is that something
We're
you
still
want to
looking at
discuss
it.
now?
if we have some money left in the park impact fees, we can definitely put that back
Okay.
in. I mean, I've been to a lot of festivals that they just use generators too.
Okay, I just didn't know with
So,
timing and our budget
I know it's not
cycle coming
ideal.
up. As long as you guys are in contact, I remember you saying you needed power.
Again, we're gonna have to go through the process, so it's gonna
Sure.
be,
Couldn't you just
3,
run that
4
slow
months.
cord out of the room with the power in it there, next to the concession stand?
we could, but if there's
Depends on how
20
much.
booths.
Well, I guess what I would request, if the quote's that old, is if the town would please remember, we have power based on where the location of the old town hall was. So there's still power right there.
that got,
That got
it's not
yanked,
connected to
that's
the,
gone.
yeah, that's gone now. It's not connected
But
to
you
the
can come from
transformer.
I
across
thought that
the
was still
street.
there, that's why we had to move the pickleball courts.
There's some there currently. We haven't pulled it all yet, but it's not connected to the transformer. We had to disconnect it from the transformer. We
But
could always do that.
The
There's power
transformer
over
is
there.
right across the street from there, though.
We actually
so they
put
can run
one,
cords.
an additional one in there, so.
I was gonna request that the town put pricing together for the baseball field and the main field. If you could get what it would take to put power in those two areas.
Sure.
With the balance of the turtles, please.
Yeah,
If
and
possible.
the coastal line runs through there too, so we'd have to take that into account.
Correct, yes. But if you would put that on the check-on so that we know what we're dealing with
I can get
as
a
we
quote,
move
yep.
forward. Meanwhile, yes, we have told we want to know what the cost is, but I have a feeling what's going to come back with, they've all been warned that they need lights, they're going to need generators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the town can give them
But if
plenty
there-
of companies, because we've
I
had
would
to use a
s-
lot of
If there
them.
is any way that we can get even some, if there is power out there in that main area and that can be fed easily at a lower cost, excluding the lights, then yes, we should consider that.
It can certainly be done, I don't know at what cost, like, to your point.
For just power there, for these large events, they're gonna need power, so.
And I have to see if that, okay, I'll call FP&L, see it too, if that,
Because
Would that
remember,
have to be
when
on
we
the
have.
fee schedule?
what?
Would that have to be on the fee schedule?
I was just
in
gonna
any way?
say, well, if we have power, there's two different fees. Do you need power? You pay this much. If you
Right,
need water,
per
you pay this
whatever,
much,
right.
correct?
Per
You'll
booth
pay
or per-
additional fees for using the power and water, so there
Right.
would be a fee for that, absolutely.
Sure. Oh, yeah, just to bring that up, because I know that's on our wish list too, or our possible donated to us list. So
Yep.
we're gonna keep updating that as staff as we see the needs or that come up through this. And then that's something that, obviously we'll go to the Friends Board and ask what they would like to fund or want to fundraise for. They might wanna, like, I have a lot of experience with Mound House. Karina brings to them all the time stuff they want it to pay for. They can decide to or not to. Or they can choose to fundraise for it or have fundraising events towards that. So it does work. I think Karina's did, Adam and Allison did a great job of coming to the board meetings and asking as we go. We should really be doing I know it doesn't always work this way, but after the budget's up, we will have to come up with something to present to the Friends to make up some of those costs.
Yeah.
So we'll come to the board. The board can vote what they want to fundraise for and what they think the timeline would be, and then that's how we can fund some of these extra things.
All right, we have a couple of new people that joined, but we go into committee member reports, and this is where you can bring up any additional items that were not on the agenda or that you want to talk about. Rebecca, do you have anything? No? John?
Is the outdoor workout fitness court, is that regularly being maintained now after we talked about it? Because
It needs.
it's the
it needs
growing
more work, I
season
realize
right now,
that,
but stuff's growing through all those
Yeah.
tiles again.
Yeah, we'll have
It's
to.
not that appealing to it.
I'll mention to Jim to just keep an eye on it again.
And there's
He's
no
doing his
hope.
best.
There's no hope to cover it.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of what we just talked about. Two shade sails, one for the pickleball courts, one for the fitness court.
We'll keep that on the volunteer list to clean that area up. Anything else, John?
Nope.
Rick?
I worked up those phases so you can pass it down if you want to take one. And I know I didn't send it in, but I figured that you could at least look at it between now and the next meeting. And I just worked it up into 3 phases like we had talked, and what I thought would cost the first phase, second phase, and third phase. I did not include the cost for the pool because I figured that was already taken care of, or I didn't know the exact budget on it. But I did include, when I looked at the building, I looked at some other components of it, and I did notice that the soffit and the fascia got hit by the salt pretty bad during the storm and are completely rotted out in some sections. So along with the roof, unfortunately, a lot of the building itself from the middle up has to be replaced also. So I did include a little bit of cost extra for doing that. And he did, I didn't get the quote from you yet, but you did tell me you were going to get it to me. So if you get a chance, I wanted to look at the installation cost versus the roofing cost. I do have
Honestly,
another
I've been looking
company.
we're trying to get the company to send us a new one.
I have another company that's very interested in trying to bid it if they could. So if you're interested, let me know and I can send them your way.
Yeah, it would be just, first of all, identifying the funds, and then we can
Yeah,
put
and
it
my
out for
concern was
RFP.
schedule on that, so I'd like to see what you did as a scope of work for that, because ripping that roof off is kind of critical, guys, because what we're doing is ripping off the outer shell of the building, which means exposing everything inside of it for a certain period of time. So it's going to be a lot of work back and forth with actually staff and the contractor to be able to keep all this equipment and everything inside safe from the weather, things like that. So I'd like to make sure that that's broken down in the, when you send that quote out to them, that they understand how important it is to protect the equipment that's inside, especially the weight room and things like that in that new floor. So, because, yeah, it's, from what I'm estimating, probably a 3-week job to be able to rip that roof off and replace the entire roof and re-insulate it. So that means also transitioning, let's say the after school, or somebody that's gonna be in there at that time is gonna have to be transitioned, like the library or something like that, or a portable building that we could put up there or something like that. So it is gonna be something that's gonna have to be very tight scheduled, very controlled.
Can I
and-
interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Did we confirm, is the roof shot?
It's been recommended to replace. It still does leak. We've been doing temporary Band-Aids on it. It's not in great shape. It leaks by where the sound system is. It really could be definitely redone, and it should be redone.
If we're looking at rebuilding Bay Oaks, you start at what needs to be repaired on the grounds. And that's kind of what I started with phase one, was repairing what we have. Because it's more important to repair what we have than to move forward and try to build new buildings and not have a decent structure of what we did. So the utilities, the underground, the building itself, to me, were the more important things, because those are what we're using now. And then, of course, prepare for what the future might be, and that's, budget the staff extra hours, because we all talked about how important that was today. You guys all talked about the marketing and awareness being very important to you. And then, of course, to look at the original design, because some of you said that you didn't like the original design, where it was, things like that. So phase one would be to look at that and make sure we don't want to make any changes to it. And then, of course, go into phase two, which would be the most important, which I think he might already have half solved, which would be to add the multi-use soccer and baseball field, or softball and baseball field, and the field lights, which I think you talked about how are important too. So phase one is kind of already what we're into. In my book, we're kind of into it. We just don't have the money to do it, but those are the ideas. Phase two is what we're moving into, and then phase three would be in the future. What we strive for is putting that building that we decided in 2017 to build, to get it built up, to be part of the community and look good, fit the community and have a good place for us to meet and have recreation. And, that fob system in a building like that would be obviously more easily done, because we could put them bathrooms right next to that workout room and things like that. Yeah. So all those problems could be solved in the long run with the final phase. So that's how I kind of look at it. I know that, the costs are kind of a guess, because, I don't really have the quotes that sent me, but realistically, to get past these two first phases, I think we could do it in under 3 years, and then look at the final phase of starting the engineering and work on that and put that into a 10 to 15 year time frame. But something that the community can be proud of, just like we had planned originally. I don't think we need to drop them plans. I think we just need to focus on how we're going to get there and plan for it, prepare for it. In phase one, I also prepared the lines underground, the electrical, things like that, because I know that those are the most important things that we're going to need in phase three. Take care of them in phase one. We won't have to worry about them in phase three. They'll be there ready for us. So that's kind of where I got it. So the only other thing, I don't think I have much more to mention, other than I still prefer the deep water pool, and I prefer the lifeguards being trained in deep water, just for safety purposes. I'd feel more comfortable that way, so that was kind of the reason I pressed that preference. And I didn't really think about that until John had given the depth, and then I started thinking that I swim in that pool quite a bit, because I'm a triathlete. I train quite a bit in there if I can, because it's a great lap pool. And yeah, those are things that I would definitely, I didn't think about it until he said it, and then I'm like, yeah, I use that depth.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of wave action that happens when you have a shorter pool that doesn't happen when you have a deeper pool too. So as you're swimming on the surface, it does make a big difference. And I know a lot of people don't understand that, but it really does when you're training. So I understand why he went that way, and that changed my mind. So that's all I got for today. So.
Bev?
Well, I don't have a lot, because I've learned so much today. Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you for, yeah. I wanted to just comment on the social activity membership recruitment that I've been seeing online. We're seeing Join Bay Oaks. I've seen it, I don't know, maybe I just noticed it this week, but there's a lot of postings now, and I'm trying to share what I find. And I just want to encourage all of us to do the same if you come across something, to press that share button and encourage everybody in the community to do the same. A lot of people don't even know about Bay Oaks, which is an opportunity for them to explore. And so I think social media is a key way to do it. So please, everybody, keep it up. I wanted to just touch on the What's Up FMB. They currently have every second week something called Zen, and it's out on the beach, and where the hold on, I've got this written down, where the Flamingo exit is in the south end here, and it's meditation. And it's lovely, but I highlight that because I really believe that anything that is health and wellness, Bay Oaks has a place. And that it should be at a minimum a discussion, you know, especially now that the Millers are going to be neighbors in the neighborhood of Bay Oaks, to explore those opportunities and be more neighborly in terms of where they are in their planning and that sort of thing. There may be some opportunities there. Just, you know, thanks to the Garden Club for being there this week. It's great. And love to see more involvement from nonprofits. We have lovely nonprofits on the island, and get them more involved in the volunteering at Bay Oaks.
Exactly, and that might be something to Michelle's, to reach out to the Garden Club and see if they want to assist. Because they're a good friend to us, so.
Before we were on here, we always talked about, and we'll come back on it, but we've had a lot of discussions regarding how do we maybe look at Mound House and Friends and collaborating better with them. Even maybe on memberships, like if you buy this membership, you can get a little discount on this one or something. So we've talked about, I think there's opportunities there. Thank you and welcome. Tina?
I don't have anything else to
Nope.
say right now.
Okay.
Okay, so I did not prepare a report or anything fancy ahead of time, but I did do some research. I think about at the end of the day, what is Bay Oaks? It is a recreational facility. It's focused on families. It's focused on residents, right? And the kids. And we all agree that we love the kids. We want them to be a part of everything. We have the events for the kids. What do the kids like? Bounce houses. Bounce houses are a part of like all of the events that we do. And we're renting these bounce houses. Like, we don't own the bounce houses. And again, I know that budget is a situation. Maybe that's something we talk to the Friends about. If we have the storage and if we can get an insurance rider, or it's like all okay with the town attorney, let's buy some commercial bounce houses. Like, get the Princess Castle or the like Spider-Man thing or whatever the kids like. And maybe we save on the rental fees for those bounce houses. Something I've also thought about too, not knowing what it's going to look like afterwards. And again, knowing that we have to think about drainage and engineering. Can we add some shelters, some picnic shelters for people that they could rent? And, you know, have your family picnics there, have your reunions, your events, your birthday parties, whatever that is. Rent the bounce house along with your shelter, and there you go. Something that we have to think about with that, you know, what would those fees look like? I don't know. I know just from my Google searches that a mid-sized pavilion would be anywhere between $45,000 and $70,000 to construct, according to the internet. The con with that being, what would the benches look like? You know, the picnic tables, those park benches. Does that contribute to a homeless situation? Does that require extra fencing? I don't know. But it is something to think about. And also, should we be talking to the Friends about getting a memorial bench, or maybe the naming rights for a shelter for Betty Simpson that we had talked about in the past. That's what I've got.
Can I just comment that, you know, the idea of bounce houses and things like that, this is where shared partnerships with the Mound House could perhaps come into play where, you know, what's used at one facility, a tent, you know, like whatever, these things that could go back and forth to these two facilities.
Yeah. Again, I think that might be a storage issue as well
Yes.
and responsibility. Like, and again, I don't have all the answers with it, but
Lost 3 sheds.
7. There was actually 7 garages on Bay Oaks at one time.
Really?
7.
Oh, yeah, because we had the carports and we had, yeah.
Because
wow.
I used to always try and get you to build one, like she wants, you know, one above ground for storage. and-
Yeah.
Because we need one. Eventually in that plan, in that building, there needs to be a storage area for like things like she says, because you had 7 at one time
I
and
mean,
now
we were
you're down
looking
to
even
0.
after
So-
Ian, like a couple of years, maybe a year and a half after Ian, like, can we put storage up
Yeah,
in Bay Oaks, like higher, like a loft? We could, it'd just be
yeah, you'd have to
a
build
nightmare,
mezzanine.
so.
yeah.
I'm going to jump in real quick, so I'm going to give my member, I have to, moving from one to the other. Okay, so I'm coming on as a member report, so now I can talk about Friends of Bay Oaks. So I actually attend the Friends of Bay Oaks meeting. I'm a member prior to this, so I can give updates following this on there. First of all, the request was asked again if Neil could attend those meetings. I think we went back and forth whether or not he could do that. But
I would
today-
prefer not because they are not a town entity.
Okay, that's fine. Just then, that's what I thought. the
I mean, I
question-
would love to. I want to work with the Friends as
He
much as
could
we
come in
can.
as a speaker, correct?
He could come in and
Yes.
give an update if they
Yes.
request him to come in, sure.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. I will
Michelle,
let,
just for the record, I just want to be clear as well, because I spoke to Nancy about this. So you are the chair here, but you are just a member of Friends, just for the record.
That's
You're
all
not
I
a
am is
chair
a
or president.
member.
Perfect, because that is allowed.
correct.
Yeah, good,
Yep,
thanks.
we
I
already-
wanted that
we
on the
did
record.
check- We made sure that we're all checked.
So we even had, we took off, I'm sorry, I hate to be like this, but we took off the Friends report on the Mound House. We used to do it every meeting, and we were kind of advised to take it off to not blur the lines.
Yeah.
So I think if Karen would love to come in, she can give a blurb.
Absolutely. Karen was out of town. The only one thing I'm telling you to say is we now have a form that we can, they put their want list together. Now, this is a form that they have supplied to us of our wants. So you fill this out.
Whose
And-
wants?
huh?
Our wants?
Yep. And then you give this to the Friends. They asked me
Yeah.
to bring this to
Okay,
you. So
great.
they approved it today, and I thought that was great
Fantastic.
news. You go through and you put your justification, how much it is, put the quotes, and you send it to their board, and then their board reviews it.
Yep, and then we'd ask for some time at one of their meetings, so we'd contact Karen and just say, can we have some time? And she can say yes or no.
Yep.
And then that's when we would give our proposals.
Correct. So that form will be emailed out. And yeah, the Friends will be giving updates, but both of their presidents are out, they had to leave town, so.
Yeah, I
but
just
they
don't
will
want
be
you, I
coming-
just don't want your line to be blurred.
My line?
Reporting, and, does that make sense? 'Cause we-
Absolutely, but this
We
is
cleaned that
our,
up pretty
this
good
is,
at Mound House, and I want to
This
just
is
keep that going.
this
so.
is our form.
Which is going great, by the way.
This is our form, so.
Okay.
All right, do we have anything else?
Last thing I want to add, I don't know if anybody else gave blood this morning at the bus at Bay Oaks. I did, and I got this shade for my car. It's pretty neat. I was going to say everyone should go down there, but it's 2:22,
Yeah, we're
and
not gonna
that's already over.
Yeah.
Michelle, are you going to be speaking at the next 2 council meetings? Because we're not going to be back till August. Do you need an agenda for the meetings?
Yes.
So what topics would you like for her to discuss with the town council at the next meeting?
Well, you'll have to set your agenda for the next meeting for a BORCAB, and then,
And then we'll do that?
if she wants to talk, yeah, she should have an agenda that you guys approve that she talks to council
Correct,
with.
yep.
So it's all approved that what she says is
Is
agreeable
what
with
we-
your board,
Right,
yes.
correct.
Yep.
Michelle, I might take this time, if it's okay with you, just to give you all a heads up. I'm not sure how much you follow some of the other advisory committees, but there's been a beautiful process put in place. Chris King did an excellent job coming up with almost a manual, so that as new members come and go, everybody has something that tells you, what's your role? How do you interact with council? You know, just kind of the how-to.
That'd be great.
I think it's good for continuity. So we had talked about that before, and Chris King took it upon herself to do that for the Anchorage Committee. John McLean took the next step and said, I'll work with this, I'll talk to Nancy, they talked to HR, and it's something that we've all recommended that all the advisory committees get.
That'd be a good idea.
Everyone's kind of singing to the same hymnal. So a part of that would probably be letting you know that you have to do sunshine training, what you
Yeah,
can and
actually,
can't do.
you were a little late for the meeting. They came in and said that they're going to be attending our
Perfect.
meeting in September and reviewing that all with us.
Perfect, good. And I apologize for being late.
That's
I
okay.
had a-
That's all right.
Can't-
Yeah, she came in and introduced herself to everybody and said that they, I believe, did she say the September meeting or October?
I think they'll get to it in September.
September, that she would be attending the meeting and taking us through all of that, so.
Yeah, it just helps
Yeah.
out everyone. It's not necessarily ours or Mound House that
Nope.
we run. It's across the board.
everybody's.
There's lines that legally we have to follow, and they just want to go over that, and make them pretty standard.
Then I believe that with the agenda, we're going to keep the same 3 items that we have, which is we need to continue to discuss the pool and new events, programming ideas, and I think we need to go through the fee schedule again.
Yep.
Do we have anything else that we'd like to add? Oh,
The fee schedule might have to be,
I'm going to add the fob.
yeah, fee schedule might have to be kind of an emailed one out. And so it might be a little bit of back and forth between Neil and I and you individually, because obviously you won't be able to talk about it. So if you give me your recommendations, we can send those out. You just can't discuss it outside of this meeting, I guess. So I think we want to get the fee schedule done sooner than later to add it in, because we'll have to do a financial impact on that before budget season, so.
All right, so anybody who, if you want to give your feedback for the fees, email them over to staff.
Yep, and I gave it to Neil, he's got a mass email for you guys. So he's got the ones from 2021, 22, I believe it is, that has all the fees on it. So you should be getting that today.
I had one more question, and it's not related to this. What was the financial impact of being closed for a month with the whole electrical issue? Do we know?
I mean, how much should we save or lose?
Both. Like, I'm not sure.
Because
Like,
technically, we should have saved.
Yeah.
it's something we don't have numbers for now, I understand, but I'm curious.
What was the electrical bill? Was it just a short, or did they have to pull a whole new cable?
So when they they had to actually, they put it above ground.
Okay.
So when FMIT came in during the last storm, they only replaced from the floor up to about 5 feet. So, and yeah, I know, anyway. So now we're still running into issues from that. So we pulled the wire from,
Sorry.
we pulled the wire from underneath. Now you'll see it in the conduit above, going to the electrical rooms there. So yeah, it just, we found that in a number of places, and after the storm, we knew it, but everything should be marine grade. I'm like, yeah.
That's kind of what I put in phase 1, because I realized that there's still probably issues that are gonna have to be dealt with. Plus, if you're adding more power to another building or power to the areas that she needs, it's gonna have to be updated.
Yeah, we're gonna have to redo the switchgear, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
and update that in the concession stand.
Yeah.
Another thing I think we should probably look at, and it is revenue related, we may be losing some money, some tax dollars, especially if the whole property tax reform goes through at the state level. How would we make that up, and what would be the impact of that, and how does that affect long-term plans?
That's a lot of bake sales.
It's a lot of bake sales and T-shirts.
All right, I do have to run. I have another meeting at 2:30, but thank you all. But you guys can discuss.
I was going to.
And I can
All
talk
right,
a little bit about that, because we did actually have a meeting with staff, just to,
I am in the
With
same
Will to
boat.
kinda, like,
Yeah,
reiterate-
I'm in the same boat that I have to, I buzzed to
Okay.
another meeting, but I'd like to add the budget as one of the budget, so we can review where we're at with all this for the next
If
meeting.
we don't set up an agenda for you, you can't speak in the council meetings either, so.
Correct.
Speak at another.
Do you have any other topics you want on there? I have the fob, the budget, the pool, the new events programming, and then we have the fee schedule. Is there anything else we want on there?
Can't think of anything. You, go through it again.
So I kept all the items we have on the current agenda.
Okay.
So we've got the BAYACs, the pool, and the strategic planning. So anything related to that we currently have on the strategic plan, and if you put any additional items onto it and send it to staff, then it becomes an agenda item.
Okay.
So we've got then I'm keeping the fee schedule on here. We need to
No,
review it.
we're just, what you're going to discuss with council, we're supposed to approve it before you go to council, so we're kind of,
That'd be the third one, and then the fob. And then we've got the budget. So at the next one, I would discuss the pool input that we just discussed. Continue to talk about the
which is
events
to
and
try and keep it to
programming.
the deeper length. And
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna basically follow the same thing and just keep, pushing the same items
Right.
at whatever level they're at. So if I get some feedback on the fob, I'll push back on wherever it's currently at. So we'll just keep pushing that way.
Okay. And also, I would encourage on the fob situation, if we could increase the hours, that could also help part of the problem, because like I say, with the fobs is one answer, but the children don't have an answer. So the hours have to increase somehow. The fob system's great, but it doesn't help everybody.
I don't disagree with you, Rick, but right now, I mean,
I think we got an answer up there. He told us that he could come up with a price per hour, and we could go looking for that. So I think that's a good answer, and I think that's something
as
that we could go price
absolutely,
for,
that can
so-
be an option.
so-
Yep.
So,
Still going to push for, that still doesn't change the people that work here on the island that want to get in there between the
oh, I
hours
agree
of
with you.
4
I
and
agree.
5:30
Everybody
and
should
work
be able
at
to
night.
work out.
Yeah.
I understand their issue, because I understand
Yeah.
that having the entire center open is different than just having a workout gym
Yeah.
open. And-
Let's
and
just
it puts the whole town recreation center, if something happened to it, then the whole center is gone instead of just the workout room.
Don't
So-
disagree, just keeping the momentum going
Yeah,
towards
oh, I
making
agree.
sure we
So,
check off all the
Fob systems
boxes.
work. My friend had a fob system that with cameras, the problem is, and he had systems where even with the fobs, people could go in with someone else's fob, or the door situation happened with him once. I mean, it wasn't every time, but it does sometimes happen. So with that situation, we have to come up with some way that we can limit our liability. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
what's gonna happen as far as damage if they do get in there and destroy every piece of equipment, and then
Yep.
where do we go from there? So
That's why
how
we'll
long is
do
Bale's
the due
closed?
diligence.
Yeah, so,
I'd like to put on the agenda tangible benefits. Tangible benefits are being discussed constantly in the community, and interpretations to that. I'd like to add that by having a membership at Bay Oaks is a tangible benefit for any new build, modeled on the same model that Meyerside has done, and that is every unit has a membership. I'd like to see this committee look at this concept of tangible benefits and communicate to council, because ultimately they're going to decide what tangible benefits are for
I'm
these.
I'm gonna put it on as an agenda item.
Yeah,
That
okay.
way we can talk about it at the next meeting and then come up with a summary and decide what to say to council. Because based on that, I wouldn't have anything to be able to say. But let's talk about it at the next meeting, come up with what we want to say, and it may be something,
Sounds-
it doesn't need to be me in front of council, it can be you.
Great,
So,
great.
it can be whoever, is the subject level of it, so.
just remember when you go into front council that you're either speaking for yourself or you're speaking for the entire council. So you have to represent whatever all of us agree upon.
Absolutely,
If you're
that's why we
speaking
need to
for
discuss it.
us, or if you're speaking for yourself, then you need to specify when you go up in front that I'm speaking as not as a member, but as a private citizen. If you're speaking as a member, then you have to represent all of us and all of our opinions. So we should vote on those things so that when you go in and actually speak on them, we've actually said, these are
Gotcha.
the items that you're gonna speak on, and those are the subjects which we want you to talk about, so.
So I'd like to address that, Rick. Just one of the things that I noticed here, I think maybe what we need to do is get a little organization so that we make sure that everyone is speaking, so that we do, motions and then a
Exactly,
second,
and that's what-
and then
yeah.
we make sure every person has a chance to
Yep.
discuss, then you take a vote. That's how the other committees
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
That way, everyone in the group has a vote to say yes or no, put it on the agenda or on next week's agenda. It just makes sure that everything's handled in the same way. And then, Rick, to your point, when Michelle comes, she will speak at a certain time at the council meeting, and that is advisory board
Right.
comments. She can also speak a public comment, which is a different opportunity, and
Right.
everyone would know that is Michelle, the citizen.
Which
or-
is what I did at the last
Which
meeting.
is what you
I
did at the
I
last
did
meeting.
public
Both times,
comment,
yeah.
which was Michelle, resident, and then I came back up and talked about
Yep,
BORCAB.
so it is the process,
Yep.
but I think we should go through the making motions too about all the different things. Bev, you had some good ideas, so you should make a motion to have that
Yep.
first
Add it to the
discussion.
agenda.
Someone says a second,
Yeah.
because they like your idea, then every member has an opportunity to talk, then you take a vote on which way you want to go forward. Go to council, put it on next week's agenda.
Yeah, the sunshine laws don't mean much if we never make motions and votes, so we
Yeah, we
kind
kind
of
of have to
make the
get into
motions and
that
votes, and
routine.
we're not even under sunshine rules if we don't make a motion and vote, so.
How is that gonna work for us with the fee schedule, given they need this information so quickly?
So
We cannot
that,
make a
that's gonna
motion
be a
vote.
challenge, yes. So, what I heard Jeff say, though, is if you get your input to him, you have to do it individually, you can't copy each other.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take that, and then he'll come back. So, but your next meeting, you would have had to say, I want to make a motion to discuss this fee schedule. Someone would second it, and then you'd have discussions, and you'd come to agreements on the prices or whatever.
If, I'm wide open to doing that. That's not something we've done in the past. We
Right.
basically, all as a group, agreed what to put on the
Yeah,
agenda.
but unless we make
Yeah,
motions.
but I think,
and-
what I'm saying is, I think we need to move in that direction. Those
All
are
right,
the
then
requirements.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the agenda items that we just talked
Exactly.
about.
I'll second it.
I just,
Yeah.
this is only, I think, maybe my third meeting
You're
in this,
doing great.
Yeah,
in
no,
this
you're doing
position
great.
is
It's just
taking
a
over. So you
process,
just
so.
tell me, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve that we are going to put the strategic planning and pool, new events programming, park fee schedule, the FOB, the budget, and tangible benefits on the agenda for the next meeting.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
All aye.
Anyone opposed?
Is anyone opposed?
That's what she'll be.
All right.
There you go.
Anyone
You
opposed?
got it.
All right, then we'll approve and add those items to the meeting. With that, do we have a vote to adjourn?
Do you want to?
Do we want to set a
Do you want to
date?
vote for your agenda for the meeting?
That's
What we
what
just
that,
did.
that's what
We
that
just set the
is.
agenda, I thought. Or that was the agenda for the meeting?
That's the, what we call, that's where I was confused. So those are the items that'll be discussed for the next meeting that we came out of here.
Okay.
Those, I believe, are both what can be discussed at the next BORCAP and what will be discussed in the next meeting as a continued follow-up.
Okay. So do we want to make a motion on what you're going to speak about at the council meeting?
We can do that. What would you like me to talk to at the council
I think
meeting?
you already made a list, so just make the motion on it.
We just did a motion
You
to,
did it on the agenda.
Well, that was on the, and here's the tricky part. And so this will help when we get this manual too, that everybody knows kind of how we run a meeting. And I'm learning that too, Michelle, you're not alone. But every topic that comes up, if there's, if you want to move it forward, someone
okay, we'll
makes
do a motion to approve the items that we just put on as new business for the next meeting will also be the items that I will talk about excluding the fee schedule, because I really don't think we'll have anything to talk about at the next BORCAP meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor? Approved. All right, the next meeting date is Wednesday, August 19th. We do not meet during the month of July. And with that, do we have an approval to adjourn?
A motion.
A motion to approve.
You get it.
You'll get there.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned.